Okay, hello folks, hopefully you can hear me. I don't know what happened, but I was just finishing my dinner because I wanted to have my dinner before the stream so that I can just crack on and play all the way through, so that delayed me by a couple of minutes. And then all my settings were all wrong because of the Red Dead Redemption 2 stream. I was streaming in 1440p there, so I had to change all the stream key, and then for some strange reason my audio devices were disconnected on OBS. So that's like a little bit of a faff, but yeah, you can hear me loud and clear. That's good. That's good. Right, let's press on. Let's get off the loud menu music as we. Oh, I've got to clean my glasses. I can see streaks on my glasses. I'll have to clean them. I'm not kicking my slippers off yet or my dressing gown because I'm a bit cold. Anyway, good to see you all. Good to see you all. All sorted for the holiday? Almost. I managed to book the taxi. I managed to sort my clothes out today, so my case is pretty much packed. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll, my friends. Holiday time, here we come. I just need to buy 2 more pairs of jeans. So I'll go to the nearest Primark and get a couple of pairs for 26 quid. I think they're about £13 each. I don't need to be walking around in fancy Levi's for a holiday. 60 quid a pop plus. So yeah, so we're almost there. I'm 95% there. Oh, John Lewis is doing a sale on Levi jeans. Oh, maybe I should have a look. Well, maybe I should have a look. Right. Ooh, where are we? Anyway. Right, Nagisa, good evening. You have noticed slight difference here. So, yes, look, I have stars and a moon and some kind of galaxy nebula thing on my wall, you see? Look at this. I mean, it's obviously a better effect in the room because you can't see the whole room, but all the stars that go all on the ceiling, down the side of the wall. Oh, it's all very calming, very relaxing. In fact, you can see it much better if I turn the light off. You can see a bit dark, looks all blue. In fact, you could almost, if I could just get a spotlight on my face rather than this big thing, it might be workable. This, but anyway, there you go. So this was a Christmas gift, a belated Christmas gift from my friend. So I said, I'll have one of them because she got one for herself. And she was like, "Do you want one of these for Christmas?" And I was like, "Well, not that I'm materialistic or anything, but I got you a bloody soundbar, you know." One of these bloody toy things that I got you as that she bought herself for a laugh. But and I thought, you know what, I can put that to good use. I can have that on my streams. I said, I'll take it. Thanks very much. And plus, it's quite calming, you know. Turn the lights off, just have that on the ceiling because you could. It's a little toy. It's like a little astronaut man, so you can put him anywhere as long as there's a plug nearby. I'm plugging this into the PC at the moment. So you can have the moon on the roof, the nebula on the roof, lay on the bed. Just quiet meditation. It's lovely, honestly, it really is. £15. I thought it's quite a bargain. I've got my aromatherapy oils in the diffuser. It's lovely. I've had a meditation this evening after work. I finished work late today. I usually finish work at about. I usually go home from the office about 1:30 and finish my day at home. Today I've had a busy day. I've had 5 meetings. I've had 5 meetings today. A new trainee to induct, admin to I've been working like a Trojan. I got into the office at 7 o'clock. I left the office at 3:45, which for me is a long day. And then I came home, sorted all my stuff out for holiday. By the time I'd finished doing everything I needed to do and had to find a time to wind down, it was 5:30. I was like, oh, today's been a very busy day. Put the meditation on to calm myself down. And here I am, happy as Larry. All in blue dressing gown, blue background, blue lights. It's the blue day today. Do I sleep with it? Oh no, I've only just opened it today. I've only just opened it at 5:30, pretty much, after I finished everything else. I thought, oh, I'll try that today, because my mate's got another 2 in. There's a big Amazon box here. There's another 2 in there. And there's also 2 baby lights that put little baby shapes on the roof, or a baby in a cot or whatever. So there's a big box full of these damn things. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to open it. I'm going to take mine out and use it now for today's stream. So that's why it's here today. So no, but I won't sleep with it on. Certainly not. Certainly not. Electricity bills over here are rather extortionate. Everything is turned off ASAP at bedtime. But anyway, yeah, I think it's quite good. It's quite good. So yes, there you go. Not much else flim-flam-wise to tell you. Although I didn't stream. Last stream was Wednesday, wasn't it? Or was it Thursday before football? I can't remember. But anyway, got a bit of a dodgy stomach at the minute. I've just finished my dinner, and it's brought on some grumblings, shall we say? Yeah. Anyway, I've got something to tell you. So, I started playing this game, and we got into it, and the game threw loads of new features at us. Decrees, and and this military situation thing, and and it didn't really give you a very good tutorial. In fact, it didn't give you any tutorial, really. It gave you some kind of loose briefings, which you kind of had to interpret. But I was really frustrated with the start that I'd made, because I wouldn't have made certain decisions had I known the decree system a bit more fully. So I've done some research since the last session of this, which was last Sunday, I think, to see what the hell is going on with the decrees. And as somebody already mentioned on the stream, the best time to do them is at the end of the turn. Yes, exactly. It's got more mechanics in the main game, but doesn't explain any of them. And most of the people that will be playing this game have probably played the base game. So all of it, and I've seen two playthroughs of it, and both people said, "Oh my God, we're overwhelmed by the amount of decrees," and therefore, it could do with being explained a little bit better. So, having read a bit more about the decrees, and I didn't want to read too much to spoil too much, but I wanted to read just a little bit about what the hell is happening, and just give me a little gentle nudge. And not only that, but I felt like that I wanted to refine my character a little bit more in terms of decision making, on which decrees we're going to pick, etc. So long story short is I started again. So if you notice, the more eagle-eyed amongst you, we've got different things going on here. We didn't have 5 treasury last time, did we? No, we didn't. We had none, pretty much. So I've kind of started again, playing now, knowing a bit more about the decree system and how it works, etc. And I've made, I'd say, 90% of the same choices the first time round, with some differences. So the differences being, the entire first bit where you create a character was exactly the same. The choices that we made were exactly the same in terms of absolutism and appeasement, and what was the other one? Anyway, it was exactly the same. The only couple of subtle differences that I made was, obviously I didn't spend anything on decrees this time around, because I know that you can do decrees at the end of the turn, so we'll do that together. But also, when it came to the celebrating my coronation, I didn't do the most expensive budget one. I did the middle of the road one, so in the major cities only. And I haven't done remember the composer musician for the noble houses? I didn't do that either, because I couldn't give a toss about the noble houses, if I'm being honest. So we didn't do that, and therefore we've got a bit more budget to play with at the end of the turn, so that we can get the decrees in that we want. And I obviously haven't purchased or haven't enacted the decree for the excavation of the Resinid Empire city that we've just found near Topez, I think it was called, simply because I wouldn't have done that straight away had I known the decree system. I thought, because it pinged up and it was one of the first decrees there, I didn't know anything about it, so picked one. Whereas you don't have to pick them straight away, you can leave them as long as you want. Once they're active, they stay active, and more are added as you can progress through the game. So, I'm not saying we won't ever do that one, because my character is interested in history and tradition, so we might get that one done, but not as a priority, because there are more urgent and pressing decrees to pass first. So yes, slightly sneaky, but I've kept most of the decisions the same in terms of all the conversations that we've had, but yeah, just a couple of little tweaks in terms of the decisions with some of the stuff. And the main reason why, because that was the one thing that really frustrated me, was because we were short of cash, given that we'd spent on other stuff, to do the church balcony, and where a devout Ruhicist turned to Ruhicism after my wife died, and we couldn't even put money to fix the church. So we fixed the church, because that was a big frustration. So that's it, no more restarts. Now I know what's happening. If we make a wrong decision now, it's tough cookies. But I feel much better placed to be able to at least make decisions that are much more informed. I know, exactly, yeah. So they always need something doing. It always requires money. Damn churches. Yeah. So, my character then, he, as we know, he's is a noble guy himself, has grown up around the palace, doesn't know, he's not really in connection with the common man. The only one common man he kind of encountered in his upbringing was Pabble, the groundskeeper's son, and basically we bossed him about, if you remember. So we're a bit of a, not a man of the people. So bear that in mind when it comes to decision making and decrees. Not only, but we do understand that we don't want to revolt on our hands, so we may throw them some crumbs. Just a couple of crumbs here and there, hopefully to keep them sweet, but ultimately most of our decision making is probably not going to involve the people, shall we say. Not only because of that fact, but also because of Mr. Manus Suzerain, son of a traitor, as we called him to his face. The Sazons that kidnapped us, bundled us away. One of our sort of goals is to stamp this family down. Stamp them down. Anything that they want, we're not giving it to them. And that includes Mr. Sazon, leader of the People's Party, so anything he proposes, or his party proposes, straight away is like, not on your Nelly, Mr. Sazon. Because the House of Delegates is more of a token gesture than anything specific, so yeah, any RPP suggestions, straight away, we're not interested. Not interested at all. I don't know, this is probably not going to be the way to play the game optimally. I don't think we're going to get a good ending personally, but this is the king I've created, so we're going to stick with it. I'm interested to see how it will pan out. So yeah, anything to do with Breenus, no. That's going to further their family, no. They're the weakest of the three families, so anything we could do to undermine them, yes. Menaces and his little people party, no. So that's a general outlook as to how we're going to be doing things, and we're completely anti-military. We do want Zeal and Pales back, but we don't want to do it militarily. We've seen what happened militarily when they tried last time, and it failed miserably because Lesbia interfered. And in the last playthrough, as we ended, Lesbia have just joined the ATO, so it's unlikely that they're going to not interfere if we go to war again. So we're not going to be able to get the Pales, certainly, militarily. We conclude. Now you probably can in the game because there's a mechanic for war, so it makes sense that you can win. But our king believes maybe some underhandedness, maybe some diplomacy. Whatever it takes, we're going to try alternative means to get the Pales under our control and see what happens. Now we've got councillors. We've been a part of the council for many years because we joined our father. Our father invited us and we've invited our daughter, so we know how the game is played. So as much as we might not like certain people, we appreciate the fact that, you know what, sometimes you've got to be nice to somebody's face, curry a bit of favour, and behind your back you can call them all the SOBs under the sun. But we're not adverse to playing the game if it's something that we want to achieve, and we know that we have to sort of get some people on side. But yeah, apart from that, there was some others. I think there's a couple of other bits, but I've not written them down. In terms of decision making, anything that advances Valenkiris, or anything that involves stuff inside of Valenkiris being our home province, yeah, we'll get the thumbs up clearly. But I think that's about it. So yeah, anti-military. We're trying to get in really good favour with Rumberg. We need to be really in good favour with Vale, and that's why we picked the appeasement. The whole Zeal situation is probably going to be a nightmare to deal with because Smolak's a bit of an idiot. But yeah, it's going to be fun, I think. So that's the kind of mantra. Oh yeah, and finally, religion. We're a religious man. Very religious man, in fact. So anything to do with Ruhicism, pro-Ruhicism, definitely going to be a pick. And also we're a traditionalist and quite like the history of stuff. So anything round about that kind of area, again, we're quite interested in as well. So that should help us when it comes to picking decrees, making decisions. We'll see how that all pans out. So our king is not necessarily a nasty person, but he's, he's of his own mind. But one thing that we have learned about him is that if anybody slights him, slights the family, does something they shouldn't do, he's merciless in dealing with them. Clamps down on traitors. We've seen it from when we created our character what he did, and hence why the Sazens are gonna feel our wrath during this playthrough, pretty much. We'll see how it works out. So yeah, he's very harsh when it comes to traitors, and certainly when people do something to him or his family. But do a good turn, be competent in your job, and we'll leave you be. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Right, so where were we? So we're not quite. We're pretty much where we were as we left off. Right. Yep. We've seen all of this, so I won't bore you with it. I'm sure we saw this last time. Yep, Hegel went to Morella. Alvarez complains at ATO membership. That was the shock horror in the meeting as Mr. Escabel had to rush out to take a call or something. Came back with that news. So the next thing was investing in the Rizian football industry. So in the last session, we went for investing in Real Monteclar because there's a football industry. Football's a big thing here. And we kind of think to ourselves, they're the best team, and maybe investing in them, making them even better on a continental stage might reap some rewards. We would quite like to advance the image of Rizia on the global stage as well. So anything that kind of enhances that would be good too. So that's why we did this, and we did it last time, and I'm kind of minded to do it again. It's going to take some budget away, which obviously. Trying to save a bit of money here, but I still feel we're going to do this because we did it last time, and it's something that actually I'm quite interested to see how it pans out. Kind of wonder if actually investing in our own hometown, which might make a bit of sense, would create a more competitive football league, which would benefit Rizian football as a whole, rather than just making the strongest team even stronger. It's like a PSG situation in France. PSG just the team that have all the money, and it's a bit dull, isn't it? And how many Champions Leagues have they won? So it might make more sense to do that, but no. Our king is very much, they're the best, I'll invest in them. Okay, so we'll do that again. And that's where we got to the end turn bit, and this is pretty much where we ended the last session. So, yeah, Port Drazen, we're not happy. You can almost understand it. This is the seat of our power, where we preside. What about us? King Romus, you live here. Yes, well, how many Manchester United fans do live in Leeds? Doesn't mean a damn thing, does it? So, without further ado, we've got some decrees that we can now sign. So, there's a lot of the damn things. We're not interested in anything to do with the military. But again, if we need to placate certain councillors or certain houses, we might just do a little bit. And in the last briefing that we had with Lucita, I think she was called, she did ask to us if we would consider lowering the conscription age and also increasing the conscription duration. They all cost money. They all cost authority. We're not obviously that interested right now in doing any of this. Increasing the provincial levy obligation is also a pretty, if you were looking for a military campaign, is quite an effective one to do. Asking for more, levy from the families, they won't be happy with it, but you get stuff. And apparently, again, this is why you need to know a little bit about the decree system, because apparently you can sell stuff. So if you invest in getting more military equipment, you can sell your military equipment for profit. That's not abundantly clear, is it, in anything here? So that was apparently that was a strategy that some people use, is stockpiling stuff that they can then sell for price. Like, oh, it's an interesting concept. Not that I'm going to be doing any of that, I wouldn't have thought, but you never know. But there are options to sell stuff, because we've seen, for example, we can sell our energy if we need to get some budget, etc., etc. So yeah, order, we're not interested, right? Economy, the first act that we are going to do that is no doubt going to take everybody off when it comes, well, not the nobility because they don't pay income tax, but the people. Obviously, we are a very resource-rich nation. Hence, why our money lady said, I can't remember her name, we can afford to have a low base income tax. And one of the first things I said when I saw that was, that's a bit low, 10%. Yeah, we're gonna deal with that because it doesn't sit well. So we're gonna raise the base income tax. It's a very neutral stance. What's she called? Elena, that's the one. Hugo is on board, the old Grand Vizier, and yeah, we're going to raise it. It's going to give us an extra budget per turn. It's not a massive amount of authority lost. That will, so it's best to do it early, obviously. If you're going to get budget per turn, the earlier you do it, the more budget you get out of it. Doing this on the last turn makes no flipping sense, does it? So getting this now makes sense. It is going to cause some public opinion issues, and considering we're not also going to be helping the people very much with any of our decrees because we don't like Maynard Sazerain, I have a sneaking suspicion our reign will end with some kind of public mutiny. But we'll roll with it. And don't forget we've not got a military either, so, but hey. We're going to do that. Are you sure? Yes, I'm very sure. Happy days. Ooh. So we've what happened there? Decree available. Remove income tax policies. Take a quick look here. Oh, the papers are already updating. People typing away on their typewriters. It's 1950s. Smoke coming out of their fingers. The King's raising the income tax. Oh my God. A horror. For years it's been what the hell is he thinking? 20% income tax. Boost public revenue. More substantial funds for national development while maintaining a clear and consistent fiscal framework for the populace. That's how it's been spun. How are the papers spinning it? Let's have a look. Tax increases for all, says the Royal Herald. In the latest communiqué issued by the Crown, an increase of income tax from 10 to 20% was announced. The statement mentioned that this unfortunate measure is absolutely needed to maintain the financial health of the nation, which has been under pressure lately. The palace hopes that all Rizian citizens will come together in sharing this burden as their duty to the nation and promises to mitigate any hardships that come out of it as much as possible with targeted policies. To do our part, the next page of this newspaper puts forward measures every individual can take in order to lessen the financial burden of this tax increase on one's household. I mean, if you're paying 10% tax and you're then suddenly paying 20%, that's quite an increase. I'm not talking like 2% here. We're increasing income tax from 10 to 12, that would cause an outcry probably in this country. 2% increase of income tax. Have a laugh. They're not paying enough. Try doubling it and see what happens. This is quite extreme. But I did say 10% is far too low, and I'm not happy with it. So that's our first decree, apart from signing this sovereignty thing, is to raise income tax. This is setting a precedent here. Right, heating subsidies, anything to do with any kind of subsidies, not right now. Inheritance tax, obviously the RPP want to tax the nobility. We're not going to do that. We're a noble at heart. As I said, we've grown up around nobility, and we don't want to draw the ire of the nobles. It's bad enough drawing the ire of the people. Let's just tick off everybody. Why don't know? Landowners tax, likewise. So, something that I'm quite interested in quite early is this one. Extensive Geological Survey Initiative. Now, this is going to cost 2 budget, and it's only going to cost 2 authority. It takes 1 term. Everybody pretty much likes it. No, it's a Monday, Cham, no football today. I don't play on a Monday. It's the one day of the week that I very, 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 very rarely play football. I play football Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or never on a Friday too. I have played the very occasional Monday, but no. We're in for the long haul. We're going until 10 p.m. So we've got to be careful of the budget. We're getting 6 budget next turn, so we don't have to. We can go right down to 0 budget right now. We can just expend ourselves here. But we have 4, and we need a little bit more than that to achieve what we want to achieve in this turn. But we're going to have to just decide, maybe as a collective, which one we're going to favour. So this one is going to basically look for any hidden treasures. We're gold rich. We've got oil fields. There's probably coal out there. We already know that because Elena mentioned it, that there's gas is one of the new up and coming energy sources. So tapping into the gas early could be beneficial in the long run. And we already know from the Swordland playthrough that this whole gas field causes a Pales issue, but it is a big thing, is this gas. Oil seems to be dwindling, our oil fields are dying. So yeah, I think investing in gas could be good, but having a look and see what else is out there, considering that we are a very mineral resource-based economy, is going to be something that's good for us. So bear that in mind. 2 authority, 2 budget. I'm not going to sign it just yet, simply because there's something else that I'm quite interested in, and we might be able to sign both actually if we do some selling of energy. Bear with me, people. Stimulus checks, rail transports, remove income taxes now come available. Why would I remove it? Where are we? Welfare. We've already got a good welfare. Removing death penalty, not interested. This one, I am interested. Enforced Ruhasist religious education. Just costs authority. Nothing to do with any sort of budget. It's a no-brainer for our very devout King Romus. Quite a bit of authority, and I'm just conscious that our authority will dwindle quite rapidly if we enact so many things at the same time. So again, we're going to just hold off on this one for the time being, but we are going to get this done quite soon. 100%. So that's that one, and that is the only welfare option that we're going to be picking. Then we look at trade. So this at the moment is how we can get a little bit of extra cash boost just by selling perhaps a little bit of our energy. We're going to be getting 1 energy per turn, and apparently energy becomes a big issue later on in the campaign. So right now it's not, so, and everybody's quite happy for it. So if we need a bit of extra budget to finance what we need to finance, this is our way to do it. So we'll bear that in mind. Now this one has been recommended, as the research that I was doing, as almost a no-brainer, a must-have. It's the Zapana hydroelectric dam. It costs a lot of budget, not too much authority. It takes 4 turns to build, but it gives you 3 energy per turn. That's a significant chunk of energy per turn. Can anybody spot why we're not going to do this? I don't care whether it's a no-brainer, and I don't think it's mandatory, because it's just not. You can play the game how you wish. You might struggle with certain elements later if you don't do certain things, but there's a reason why we're not doing this, and it should be quite obvious to you why we're not interested in a Zapana dam anytime soon. I mean, it's a bit petty. Yeah, the country needs energy. The country needs energy. Oh no, it does. What about this dam proposal in the region of Brenus, that's going to provide positive tidings for the relations of House Sazerain and a benefit to their local and regional people? Not interested. No. I don't want good relations with the Sazerains. I don't want their regional development. I don't want their region to be more prosperous. I don't want our country to have to rely on anything within their poxy lands. So, no, actually, we're not going to put a dam anywhere near them. No. And that is the only reason. Petty, perhaps, but no. We're not advancing the fortunes of anything to do with their province. So we're not getting the dam. However, this one, it's not quite as lucrative as the dam, but it does provide 2 energy per turn. Takes a little bit less time to build, costs a little bit less budget, and less authority. And it's expanding our offshore gas field in the Esquiris Sea region. Now, I didn't check where the Esquiris Sea region was, actually. Is that any? That's nowhere near them, is it? I'm sure it's over here somewhere. Where's the Esquiris? Don't know. I don't know where it is. Where is Esquiris? I think it's down here somewhere. This seems to be the area that's rich with oil, with gas. Anyway, where were we? So it's offshore. Yes. The older lower yield extraction operation will cease to exist. So yeah, gas. Gas is a big up and coming thing. So I think expanding the offshore gas field, pumping money into the expansion of gas, I think we're adopting future fuel sources, future resource that's going to be beneficial. So this is the other one that I'm quite interested in. So hence why this one costs 3 and the other one costs 2. So that's 5. So we're a little bit short. However, if we sell our energy off, it gives us a bit extra budget to play with, which means we can get both of those done. And I think that's a good start when it comes to the decrees. Anybody got any alternatives? Building anything to do with military, and these two, funnily enough, are military things. It doesn't look it from building a hospital or a university. It's giving you kind of military manpower. These are actually military-based options, which is not quite so logical, but hey, hence why you should read exactly what they do. So I'm thinking what we do, and I'm going to click it now because we're making a decision. We're going to elicit a tiny smidgen of global energy sale to give us that extra bit of budget. I'm going to sign that. That gives us a bit of budget to play with. A bit less energy, but we're building an offshore, expanding our offshore gas production, so we'll get a higher output of energy in the future to offset that little sale there. And in the meantime, we're going to extensively survey for minerals. Oh, look at that, we're digging everywhere. And that's going to probably tick off a few nobles, because we're going to probably be blundering through their lands. They've got acres and acres of land, and we're just going, right, we're going to just start doing some digging here because we're doing geological survey. But you can't do that. This is my farm. Yes, we can. The king said so. Take it up with him. So that's that one. We've got 3 left, which means that we can then also do the expansion of the Esquiris offshore gas field, which will hopefully net us some good stuff later down the line to stave off any sort of energy problems that might occur. So I'm just going to sign that too. And there you go. There you go. So we've got no budget, but this is the end of the turn, so we're going to get 6 budget next turn, because don't forget, we've just raised the income tax, which is a good budget to play with. Authority, we've got 6, and we're going to get another 4, so I think that'll give us 7 authority next turn if we do the religious studies one. So what do we reckon? I think we should do the religious studies one as well, unless anybody thinks we should perhaps wait for another turn, maybe. I kind of feel like, given that we're quite a devout religious man, that we would probably just do this straight away. I don't know. Authority looks quite like an important stat, because it's almost like authority is what was the game? What was the game called? Democracy, where you had your political fists. What were they called? That's the name I gave them anyway. To get stuff done. You know, so this is almost like everything costs authority. If you've got no authority, you can't do anything. And obviously, the more contentious the decree you want to enact, the more authority it needs. That's how I think it's going to work. But yeah, I think a 7 authority next turn. I've got a sneaking suspicion that our authority gain per turn may wane depending on our decision making. You know, if we're disliked or whatever, we just get less and less authority to get stuff done. I would imagine would be the upshot here. So perhaps getting this done as early as possible might be a good thing. Screw it. There we go. It's done. It's done. Even if you have to have a turn where we don't go so heavy on the decrees. Apparently there's 75 decrees, and the game doesn't even give you a option to any form of tutorial on them. It's insane. So the second small global energy sale is interesting because it costs more energy for the same budget. I think it was 1 to 1. It's now 2 to 1. So you can keep doing this, but it costs you more energy the more you do it, which is a good mechanic so that you can't exploit it. The medium energy sale would be the next port of call. You're getting more bang for your buck here. So if we need more budget next turn to enact some things, I think our medium energy sale will be a next port of call on that one. But we'll see what more decrees pop up out of all of these. There's only the excavation of topaz that we're interested in, and that's it. None of these other ones tick the bill, so we're quite happy with what we've done here. So we've got some more news articles based on what we've just done. Let's take a quick look. Look at that, mining surveys. We'll see what that brings back. Oh, nice. Listening to this music whilst hunting in RDR2. So you started playing it after the stream. Did I inspire you? I haven't played RDR2 since that stream, actually, funnily enough. I've been so busy. I go through fits and starts with stuff, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood to play. Like yesterday, I had a bit of spare time because I didn't stream yesterday because I was finishing off some of my holiday stuff and getting the clothes out of the wardrobe and rifling through, getting some of the old stuff out and stuff. That's why I managed to get my case packed today, literally, in less than 15 minutes, because I'd already done a load of the donkey work last night, hence why there was no stream. But after I'd finished doing that, it was about 8:30ish. So I was like, oh, I've got like 3 hours before I'm going to bed. What do I do with my time? I could load up Red Dead Redemption 2, some Football Manager, maybe some Baldur's Gate 3, all of which I've got private saves going on, and I did none of them. I wasn't in the mood to play anything. So I just sat and read and watched a couple of mindless videos on YouTube, and that was about it. I was kind of lost because I wasn't streaming, because I stream every Sunday. And then when I didn't stream, I was like, what do I do with my time? I don't want to do anything. It's really bizarre. But anyway, what has the newspapers got to say? Religious studies for all. To preserve our cultural heritage and to ensure the new generation does not forget the traditions they came from, the monarchy has announced a new law introducing mandatory religious studies in all public schools. It is important that our youth learn about the Ruhasist values that shape our society. This way, they can not only rejoice in the community that it brings them, but also build a moral compass to help them make difficult decisions later in life. Our traditions and way of life are important and define who we are. Thus, we must be glad that finally religion receives its rightful place within the education system. Okay, so that's that. King envisions greater gas exports. Esquiris field to provide. Yes, to increase our gas output as well as boost domestic energy security, the palace has announced that it will be undertaking a major expansion of the Esquiris offshore gas field. Very good, yes. All with the aim of strengthening our economy. So yes, hopefully it will allow us to export greater amounts of natural gas to our neighbours, but only if our own domestic supply won't be threatened. So yeah, not only might it give us opportunity to have a good output for our energy stores here, but it might also mean that we can do some more of that selling to get more budget if we've got an overflow of gas. So we can sell our resources energy-wise, we can sell our resources military-wise, and all this can be used to gain yourself some budget should you need it. So given how picky we're going to be with our decrees, I don't think, saying this now, curse myself here, I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue balancing the budget. I could be wrong. We'll see. Because we're not going to be doing too many decrees that just do not interest us. For example, there's a narcotics problem. Should we clamp down on the narcotics problem? No, not really. It's not top of my list, says the king. But there's drugs thrive, people, black market trade and all that. All the labour hands, they're not getting the same rights as the rest of the workers, so they're turning to drugs. You don't know anything about it? Nah. Next. Kingdom surveys its lands. His Majesty's office has announced that an expansive and detailed mineralogical survey of all of Rizia will be carried out, to chart which precious resources remain hidden under the kingdom's crust. Yes. Survey away. Geologists have stated that they are confident that vast mineral deposits will be uncovered, and if these are exploited, might have the potential to spark another economic boom. Yes, that's the hope. Will it happen? Depends what's under the crust. And energy exports to increase minimally. So yeah, this is us when we just clicked on sell some of our energy. Only a small surplus. Only a small surplus. Nothing to worry about. Right, Geopolitical news. Rizia to become energy exporter. Yes, look at that. Yes. So energy rich, we can afford to sell it to the highest bidder. Right, excellent. So there, we are now exactly where we were in the first playthrough, if you will. But obviously with slight differences now that I fully understand exactly what's going on with the decrees, which, hopefully will stand us in good stead. I think we were pretty much on a hiding to nothing given the start we had last time. But now, we're much calmer. And we shall see what the next turn brings us. The Golden Kingdom. Maybe something to do with gold then. Oh yeah, we've already made it clear that we want our old share from Rusty back. If you remember, our share reduced from 45 to 30%. Top of our priority list is to get that back up to 45. We're not having Rusty have more than he needs. When it comes to our gold, Rizian Royal gold, I think the clue's in the title there, Rusty, my buddy. Obviously we can't have it fully nationalised because he's got ties, oils and ties to Arcasia and all the rest of it. It's too complex, said Elena. So we'll trust her with that, but we want our share increase to happen. Get it done. Right, I think we may have read these last time. The Royal Mining Survey has yielded no results. What? No major mineral deposits have been found underneath jails. Hope continues to exist that future technological advancements... Okay, so it's just jails, not the entire survey that we've just funded. Jails, there's nothing there. Good, because jails is in Breenus, and we don't want Breenus to have anything. So we're happy with that news. What about Qualis? Ooh, large gold deposits discovered in Qualis, and Qualis is in our land. Oh yes, look at that. Significant gold deposits have been found underneath between Qualis and Fort Mano that, if exploited, have the potential to solidify Rizia's position as leading gold producer in the... Oh, now this is grand news. I mean, we didn't get any new decrees listed here to suggest that perhaps we should start ringing Mr. Montero, whatever it, Rusty for short, and say, hey mate, we found some more gold for you to mine. Crack on. But yes, good news in Qualis. We've got some additional gold deposits. That is fantastic news. The Nelvisar oil field is going to close. We've got a council meeting on foreign relations. I don't know whether to actually just abandon oil at this point and just focus on gas and gold, maybe coal, and just completely abandon oil as a lost cause, or whether we should pump money into trying to revitalise the oil. I'm not sure. No results in Argno. Oh, that's in Breenus, isn't it? Oh, what a shame. Maybe the king has told the geologists that are surveying in the Brenus area not to find anything. But we found loads of gold. No, you didn't find a damn thing. Read my lips. Nothing was found. Oh, thank you. Brenus, bereft of anything useful, it seems. Havas, large coal deposits found in Havas. Good. So we've got gold up in our lands. We've got coal down here in the land of the other family, whose name escapes me. Suzerain, Lucita's family, the Azaro family. Yeah, positive results. A new coal mine rise. So yes, seeing as we have pumped money into finding these resources, it would be foolish of us not to exploit them. So coal mining on the increase, perhaps. I think if there's an option to tap into coal, we'll definitely be tapping into coal. So between coal, gold, and gas, I think oil can go by the wayside, maybe. Topaz, there's got to be something in topaz. There's got to be, surely. Let's have a look. Oh, no, nothing in topaz. That's fine. Oh yes, of course, there is something in topaz. There's the ancient resonant ruins. Of course there is. So they have to be very careful not to damage the ruins, which we will excavate when we've got a bit more cash to spare. But we do want to get that done. It's in our area. It will bring tourism to our area. We like the fact that we have uncovered some part of our history. We're just waiting for the right moment for that one. But yeah. That was, I think that's pretty positive. Right, let's have a look at this oil field closure. Oh, already we're losing 1 energy per turn. Ooh, that's bad. That's not good. We're expanding that, so that's good. And that hopefully won't go anywhere. So in a significant chapter in Rizia's oil history, it's now drawing to a close. The Nelvisar oil field at Falche Data, an instrumental asset since its discovery in 1895, faces imminent shutdown. Despite the depletion of its once abundant reserves, the field has continually played a role in meeting Rizia's oil demands. Under the unwavering management of Rizian Oil and Gas, the field has stood the test of time, but nature's limits are becoming evident. Where one door closes, another opens. Yes, gas is the future. Oil, yesterday's news. But that means that we have we got a lot of stuff happening here. Right, let's just take a quick look. The oil workers in Nelvisar organised a commemoration for the closing field, marked with a parade of the workers through the town and a large gala held in their honour. While some will keep their jobs for the foreseeable future as operations wind down, many are now unemployed and have to look elsewhere. Don't worry, gas is coming, coal is coming. You can I'm sure it's one of those kind of jobs where it's cross skills, you know. If you can drill for oil, you can dig for coal. Does it not work like that? I'm sure it does. If you need work, you need work. We'll get you down those mining pits. You're going to love it. Right. What have we got going on? Quite a lot of change happened there. Situations. Nelvisar oil field is now depleted. Yeah, so that gas field better start getting a move on. And we can't really afford to start selling any more energy when we've not got a surplus. In welfare situation, high amount of illegal substance use. Oh dear. It's causing alarm, apparently. We've got an opioid crisis. A denial of welfare services for Golcondists. They're facing severe discrimination. This is because we didn't fund their temple. If you remember in the session where we had the whole tour of the church, and just before we were given that vision by Sal, he mentioned the fact that we could invest not just in our own church to fix the balcony, but also the Golcondists asked for some money to be pumped into their sanctuary, which would have cost 4 budget. Sal, what budget? I've only just got enough money to cover the roof of this place. So yeah, they're not happy, and we don't care. You're Golcondists. You are a warmongering people using any excuse to cause mayhem under the guise of religion. We're not interested. Turn to Ruicism, or do one. Situations. Vibrant drug trade node. Listen, I've got a solution to this problem. Legalise drugs. Tax it. I'm pulling suggestions out of the air here. I don't know if it's a possibility. I'm thinking of democracy now. The game, of course. Yeah. If you've got a drug problem, legalise it. Drugs problem goes away because people can get it legally. Why would you need then a black market of it? You don't, do you? If that's an option in this game, we're picking it 100%. 100% we're going pro-drugs, as in legalising it for monetary gain, of course. Discontent Dasneurist community. So we've got the Dasneurists, we've got the Golcondists. Yeah, 11 pillars, 15 pillars. I don't care if you've got 25 pillars. We're not interested. Ruicism or nothing. Neutral Golcondist community. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, it will get worse, clearly. But we've got a very happy Ruicist community. Oh, look at that. Harmonious existence. And as we looked in our playthrough of all the various regions, yes, some regions have more. Might want to antagonize any group too much. No, JJ, we might not want to. Then again, we might want to. I don't know. We did say at the start, I anticipate that this playthrough might not go very well. But my king has got a certain way and certain way of thinking about things, and I can almost certainly guarantee we're not going to get the best of endings, but we're going to roll with it. It will be so painful for him to have to even try to curry favour with those other religious zealots, you know. Zealots, that right? Heretics, sorry, heretics. It's probably the better term. Not interested. So we're ticking off the common people by raising income tax. We're ticking off the religious people, the minorities, by clamping down on their religion, or at least not funding their sanctuaries, whilst making sure ours are prim and proper. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Royal decrees have been added. Expand the border guards. We might need this by the time we're finished. It will help to reduce the drug trade. No, not interested in that for the time being. We're going to non-Ruicist religious tax. Oh yes, this has to happen. We're a devout Ruicist. This is one that has to happen. Enacting the non-Ruicist tribute decree. Rizia imposes a 20% VAT explicitly on non-Ruicist communities, channeling additional fiscal resources into the kingdom's treasury each turn. This is +2 budget per turn. Which we'll have to use to fund an absolutely well-armed military police to deal with the uprising. Dasneurists, Zaranists, and other religious adherents within the realm may interpret this measure as a selective adverse fiscal imposition on their spiritual observances, potentially inciting internal opposition. Furthermore, it will precipitate diplomatic complexities on countries like Valen and Rumba. Ooh, now. There's the kick in the teeth. There's the kick in the teeth. Wayland and Rumberg, we are trying our best to keep on side. Rumberg particularly, as the military superpower. And they're not going to like this at all. Ooh. This is where diplomacy and not being a complete lunatic has to come into play here, I think. No. Given the path that we're choosing, if we were going military and we weren't relying on Rumberg, this would be in a heartbeat, but we're not going military. And we need Rumberg. And we need to be fair, we need Valen on side, because at some point we're going to need Zeal back, and they're not going to hand it back on a plate, are they? Oh, here you go, after 25 years, here you go, nicey, have it with an open hand. They're going to want something in return for it, I can assume, or just not. They're not going to be interested in giving it up at all. So we're going to need good relations to maybe negotiate that situation when it happens. So yeah, perhaps we can't go with this one. Oh, as much as it looks absolutely delicious. Can you imagine an extra 2 budget by taxing non-Ruassists? Oh my goodness. Residence and work permit for migrants. Oh, for God's sake, I hate that. Legal. Oh! I was surmising here. Honestly. It's a possibility. 2 people are for it. It costs authority, but I think this is a goer. Oh, we're going completely. Oh, this is great. We're gonna legalise drugs, people. I mean, we have to see how much authority we've got at the end of our turn. This is the start of the turn, not the end of the turn. We're legalising. We've got a drugs problem. We could put border guards onto it. We can clamp down on this and just legalise it. It gets rid of the problem straight away. Oi. Oh, look. Oh my. Oh. Okay. I don't think we're not going to go through all of this right now. There's a lot of stuff. Gold mine, coal mine. We're going to need cash for these, aren't we? That's not too bad. Energy per turn, only 2 budget, 1 authority. Coal mine is definitely a goer. Qualis gold mine, definitely a goer. We're going to need some budget. We've got the budget for both of those. The authority we need. So authority to build these takes precedence over the authority to legalise drugs. We can legalise drugs a bit further down the line. But all of these, constructing mines, constructing coal and gold, are probably best to do early so that we get the longer term benefits. So these should be the priority. The Monkeys Port and Naval Shipyard expansion takes energy. Gives us a lot of ships that we could probably sell, but I don't, because we're not going military, I can't really see the benefits of getting that one. But yeah, look at this. We can sell tanks for 3 budget. We don't need tanks. We don't need tanks. I mean, if we go completely and sell everything militarily and don't invest in military, I can imagine a military coup happening. Although with what resources? We've sold them all. Selling support vehicles. Selling ships. 4 budget to sell a few ships. Selling planes? We don't need any of them. We're anti-military. Tanks, first batch of tanks. Oh, so if we need cash to buy to fund anything, well, we can also buy. We can sell and we can buy military equipment. This is all very interesting how it all interacts with each other. Let me just see what else is left to tick off so that we can get rid of that. Improve Pales Logistics Hub in Murmy. No. Establish a Romus Taurus Military Academy. No, not interested. Right, there you go. So there's all the decrees that have come into place since last time. There is a lot to get your head around. But I think, as I said, after doing a little bit of research, I think we know roughly what we're doing there. Coal mines and gold mines, and excavate the city. I'm going to sell some military stuff to fund the excavation of this city in Topaz. That's another goer. And yeah, they're legalising drugs. They're the only decrees out of that whole list that sort of jumped out at me. But I will have a proper look off camera to see what we're going to do. So here we are. The day of my Foreign Policy Council meeting had arrived, and it was a hot one. The fans in Palace Resna provided little relief. I decided to take in some fresh air in the palace gardens. I didn't know much about the many plants and flowers on display around me, but they were pleasing to look at and provided some welcome shade. I spent a while wandering around, then returned to the middle of the garden where a series of stone sculptures were surrounded by Rizian palms and succulents. To my left, I saw Vina reading a book on a bench beneath a decorative stone arch. In the date palm grove to my right, I caught a glimpse of my mother. Vina's reading, so we'll let Vina read, and instead we'll go talk to Mother Dear. What's the latest with the teeth? Oh, nothing. I mean, I'm waiting until I have my appointment, which was on the 14th of February, but it was put back a week because for no reason given. So I'm just waiting to see what happens once she drills into my tooth. She might drill into my tooth and say straight away, "Oh, the inlay is not appropriate," or whatever. Yeah. I'll let you know as soon as I've had my appointment in the middle of February. So we're going to go talk to our mother. We'll leave Vina reading for now. I made my way to the palm grove and tapped my mother on the shoulder. She lowered the black lace parasol she was holding and linked her arm through mine. So yeah, we're probably a mummy's boy. I think a lot of sons are, aren't they, really? Myself included. I'm surprised you haven't died of boredom yet. She just looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't she? The hat, the earrings, the pearls. She looks like a queen mother. Got a cigarette? Okay, so our king is a smoker, he's a drinker, loves a bit. We've got a booming wine industry. I think we're going to be embracing all the vices. Legalising drugs, you say? Not for personal use, clearly, says the king. What happens behind closed doors? I've got a cigarette. Is the Grand Wiseman nearest? This is going to be the Netherlands of Bacopa. Oh, indeed it is. She lit 2 cigarettes and handed one to me. Seriously, I hope you're faring well thus far. Right, yes. Do you trust Hugo? We probably value our mother's opinion. And don't forget, let's just refresh ourselves before we go on. We had a vision in the last session. Oh, the whole thing whilst we were naked, of course. Yeah, crown rising. Somehow it couldn't be fixed or something. That was one thing. I don't know what that was about. I don't know whether it was something to do with the crown rising. Was maybe my dad dying, passing the book to me, going to heaven, leaving behind a realm that perhaps they're going to struggle to fix. I don't know. Could be, might not be. Then there was a situation with who we're assuming is our daughter Vina, a union that's not going to be well received. We've already seen how she's looked at Manus. But one of them was a dagger or a stabbing of a heart, which we assumed was maybe a betrayal. Now, out of everybody on the council so far that we've seen, who we are thinking, who is the most likely to betray us here? Now, in the prelude, or whatever you want to call it, the prologue, when we were creating our character, there were some rumblings mentioned right at the very beginning that there was rumblings among the people that Hugo was the rightful king, and we didn't explore that option. So I don't know what the rumblings were, but maybe that's given us some sort of doubts about Hugo. His son Rico is in Isa, not doing a great job. This whole kind of ominous stuff going on. So yeah, perhaps our king is just thinking to himself right now, I've just got my reservations about this Hugo fella. Sometimes, you know, family can be the worst ones for stabbing. We've seen Crusader Kings, people. We see what happens when it comes to monarchies and people thinking they've got rights to thrones and stuff. So just seeking my mother's counsel here. You're asking the wrong person. Don't forget he positively loathes me. With that said, he was nothing but loyal to your father, and that loyalty extends to anyone with the last name Taurus. Personal squabbles aside. I'm relieved to hear that. A bell chimed in the distance. It was time for the meeting to begin. Chin up now. I'll see you at supper. My mother raised her parasol and strode away. As Vina and I walked to the council chambers, we found the other councillors already there, deep in conversation. A superpower suddenly taking an interest in this part of the continent? What's next? All of our children will have to learn Arcasian? The decision wasn't made with any ill intent towards Rizia. There are greater global forces at work than what's happening in our corner of South Macopa. What the superpowers decide affects us, Mr. Escabel. Their intent is of no importance. You started the meeting without me? King affronted here. The three of them noticed me and fell silent. As you should. In fact, they should be rising to their feet. The king has just walked in, for heaven's sake. Excuse us, Your Majesty. We were just discussing the recent news concerning Lespia's membership in ATO. Yes. Nothing to worry about. We should be very concerned. We don't know anything about the situation. We'll have to wait and see. Waiting and seeing is not very proactive, is it? It seems a bit like, let's wait and see. Let's get swept up in it all. No. We're a man of action. And that action is concern. I completely agree with Duchess Zaro. We should be very concerned. We saw how Lesbia meddled in the past with the Pale situation. Now they've got the ATO's backing. Who knows where they're going to stop? Why do you believe that, Your Majesty? Stupid? Escabel? Exactly. Because Arcasia's backing, Lesbia is bound to strengthen its grip on Pales. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I want the Pales back. Which will certainly threaten the tenuous peace we have established with both nations. What would you have us do, Duchess Zaro? We're on shaky enough ground with Lespia as it is. Of course we should act sensibly, but we need to show the Republic and its new friends that Rizia can hold its own. Yes, right, let's get to the brass tacks of this situation. Economic consequences, relations with Lespia, a threat to our monarchy, and any security in... So we're getting basically everybody's view then. So we'll start with Miss Werner. Any economic consequences to this newfound alliance? I'm sure it will, Your Majesty. Our most significant economic relationship with Lespia is our partnership in the Meftium International Trade Zone. Having Arcasia behind them might well embolden Lespia to push for a larger share in the midst. But they'd also have Valgsland and Morella to contend with. Lespia using Arcasia's backing to strengthen its economic ties with Pales could also have negative ramifications, especially when it comes to the new gas... Oh, yes, the gas field. Okay. Right then, Lamento. What is our current relations with Lespia? I would categorise them as neutral, but frosty, Your Majesty. Queen Liza's diplomacy kept us on good terms with Lespia for time after their transition to democracy, but things were beginning to sour even before the Pales conflict. We still maintain embassies in each other's countries, but I haven't met with their foreign minister since before the election of their new Prime Minister, Alvarez. And what are the security implications, Duchess Zaro? We can definitely expect the Arcasian military to increase their presence in Lespia. Lesbia already houses Arcasian military personnel. Air and naval bases cannot be far behind. I can't say for certain that all the firepower will be directed against us in case of a conflict, but it does enhance the threat that Lesbia and, yes, potentially Pales poses to our kingdom. And finally, Hugo. Does this development pose a threat to the Rizian monarchy? Not an immediate one, Your Majesty, but we must be watchful. We have seen Arcasian-backed revolutions succeed in Rika and Xena, and we do suspect the Sazens were communicating with Arcasia prior to the 1926 uprising. Kinal's ATO membership was already cause for concern 5 years ago. With Lesbia in the alliance as well, Arcasia's influence is present to both our north and our south. There is great potential for destabilization. Oh dear. So ATO have already meddled in revolutions to overthrow the Rika and Xena's kingdoms, it seems. Worrying news. Worrying news. Hello, Godfathers, welcome. I remember you watching the original playthrough too. I'm going on holiday on Saturday, Jam. It's coming round very quick. So we've got problems. Economy potential problems. We've got flipping destabilization potential problems. We've got the military potential. We've got this is a problem. And this idiot Esquibel had the cheek to say why we'd assumed it was going to cause a problem. How long have you been on this council, Esquibel? And he's a foreign affairs person too. On the other hand, Your Grace, Arcasia has friendly ties with at least one monarchy. You may recall that President Dwight Walker actually boasts Rumburgian heritage. Did we glean that in the first playthrough? I didn't recall. But that could be a positive. What do you all think I should do? Any ideas? We're devoid of ideas ourselves, obviously. Everybody began talking at once. Hugo motioned for silence. In my view, Rizia should bolster our alliances with our fellow monarchies, like Rumburg and the rest of the Guild of Royal Allies for commercial exchange. Building stronger bonds with them will not only enrich us, it will counterbalance ATO's democratic influence. I like it. We are going to obviously get involved with Rumburg. It's not a problem. This is true, but we can't rely on Grace to come up to our aid in a conflict. For that, we will need to build up our military and defense capabilities. I'd say it's more crucial to form new trade relationships with our other neighbours. If Lesbia becomes even more of an economic juggernaut in our region, it'll upset the balance of power. So form new trade relationships, curry favour with Rumburg. Okay, I'm getting it. And I don't think we should ignore the opportunity to thaw our relationship with Lesbia itself. I, for one, would rather handle them as a friend than a foe. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer. Good option, Mr. Esquibel. I'm liking everything I'm seeing so far. Hopefully we can do all of this. Maybe not. A lot of Arcasians are of Rumburgian descent, including... Oh, that's good to know. Anything to add, Grand Wiseman? Okay. Yeah, he sat there quietly, and of course, as our religious advisor, being a very devout religious man ourselves, we would welcome his counsel. Well, Your Majesty, the teachings of St. Ruhek compel us to exercise goodwill and compassion towards our neighbours. On the other hand, we must be watchful that Lesbia does not use its new international clout to further the spread of the Dasnurist faith. Compassion towards neighbours, so yeah, friends with Lesbia, yeah. Trade partners with other neighbours, as Alina said, yeah, very good. Rumberg, yeah, okay. It's all aligning. We'll keep an eye on that situation, obviously. Oh yeah, that was also a part of the vision, wasn't it? The birds. The birds flying in the sky and the people marching, but he couldn't see whether they were angry or happy. Something to do maybe with an uprising or people that aren't happy. We thought it was possibly to do with the invasion of the Das Neurist population, perhaps. Vina, she's probably going to be surprised. We're directly asking for her input. Any thoughts, Vina? You're not here just to take notes, you know. Oh, it's like that awkward. I don't know if it's like that awkward moment in a meeting. So, like, you know, where I work, sometimes we invite people to a meeting to observe the meeting. So, like, you know, staff members that might want to get a bit of insight what happens in management meetings, and you know, yeah, come and be part of the meeting for the day. And they sit there, and then we suddenly ask them a question. And they're like, "Oh, well, you're not here just to sit here. You're here to you can provide your view, you know." We certainly don't want tensions to rise with Lesbia at this point, do we? But we don't want ATO's influence to overwhelm us either. Yes, that's the predicament we face. Exactly. From a funeral. Yeah, she's still wearing it from my father's funeral. She's refused to remove it. What about using cultural exchanges and other partnerships to spread Rizia's own influence beyond our borders? Now, as I also said, one of our... I mean, I don't know how feasible it will be to accomplish all of these aims, but our aim, obviously, is to not fund the military, to keep it quite military-free, is to obviously clamp down on the Sazens, yeah, is to be very, very pro-Ruicism, yeah. But I also said that we want to try to put ourselves out there on the global stage, you know, be proud of our country, because our country's standing at the moment, or how people view us, was yellow, I think it was, like a neutral stand view. We want that to be positive, you know. So spreading our cultural beyond our borders is actually a very damn good idea, Vina. Sounds expensive. Listen, we've got military vehicles to sell. Expense, spare no expense here. Brilliant, Vina! Arcasia isn't the only nation capable of promoting itself through soft power. This is your future queen you're looking at here, people. I have an idea regarding this, actually. I'll bring it up at the end of the meeting. You have an idea now because my daughter has come up with the idea, Laurent Escabel, and you've clearly clicked something. Disappointed you didn't think of it yourself, Mr. Foreign Affairs Minister, but hey. Right. Full picture of our geopolitical situation before I offer my own opinion. Rundown, now. Certainly, Your Majesty. That's what today is for. They're going to walk to the chamber's back wall and pull down a map of southeastern Macopa. What shall we discuss first? Valen, Pales, Meridia, Swordland. Hey! Let's start with Valen first. Ah, yes, of course. Shuffle some papers. Relations with our one-time allies have been turbulent at best since the Civil War. The international unpopularity of current President Victor Smolak has only complicated matters. Now, we want to curry favour with them, so cutting ties, not a good look for us to remaining linked with them. They are, I mean, obviously from the Swordland playthrough, they're a country that is not looked very well upon in the wider world stage. You know, guilty by association and all that. But we need to be nice to them until we get Zeal back. It would be quite cool if we could get Zeal back nicely and then cut ties. It's probably not going to happen, but, you know, cut ties at that point. Bye. yeah, the Father's made a deal with them on good faith. They so far have respected the deal. I mean, respected the deal. All they've had to do is bloody use zeal and mine the place of gold. What is there to respect? It's not wrong. One might see it that way. Valen's access to Zeal's land and resources helped bring it out of recession after the war. Smolak will have difficulty letting go of such a valuable asset. Sweeten the deal and appease him. I mean, we did pick appeasement, so we shouldn't be anti-appeasing as much as it almost sounds like we're going cap in hand, which is not a good look. Can we count on him to honour the terms of the treaty? Smolak is not as weak as he seems. It will take a great deal of time and effort before our firepower matches his. He may act bold. Currently, their foreign ministry is working in close cooperation with us, and President Smolak has promised to honour the treaty. In the meantime, any perceived aggression on our part may only give him an excuse to break it. No, we don't have any aggression on our minds. Can the international community be relied upon to intervene if Smolak breaks a signed pact? Given how many countries depend on Vezek oil, either directly or indirectly, I wouldn't be so sure about that. Oh dear. The funding Valen has received from the United Contana may also have Smolak believing he can act with impunity. So he's got funding from United Contana. The international community won't touch him with a barge pole because, hey, we all need that oil. So that's almost basically saying he's got free rein to completely stick two fingers up at us when we ask for Zeal back and nothing we can do about it. Happy days. But what about the people of Zeal? Surely they can't wait for the land to be returned to Rizia. Their rightful place, their rightful home. It's been 25 years. They're probably long forgotten about Rizia. We're deluded. Half of the country's native Rizian population fled during the Civil War, like the Queen Mother's parents, I recall. Among those who were stubborn enough to stay, opinion is divided. We have to remember that it has been almost exactly 25 years. Okay. I mean, I'm not going so far as to say sweetening the deal here. And apparently, I also read that I think in the base game, your conversations with these people and the options that you picked didn't have like a massive impact on how the story panned out. Now, that could be wrong, but no matter what option we picked, until we came to make the actual decision to do stuff, the conversation was more information. Whereas I've read that what you say here in these conversations have an impact on stuff, which you would expect it to do, to be fair. So we might have to be a bit careful what we say, just in case it locks us into something or does something. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, ultimately we want Zeal back, and we will concede some things if necessary, as long as it's not too much. Goodness me. I'm beginning to think we should have just gone full military this playthrough. It would have been quite fun, but it's an it'd be a lot more satisfying taking these lands back diplomatically. And I'd say the reason why we're going diplomatically is because of the whole Lesbia interfering last time. We saw how bad that turned out, so we're going to feel a lot more clever and smug as a king if we take back the lands that military might couldn't through alternative means. It'd be very, very cool. I don't think it's going to be possible given how many people we're ticking off, but we'll see. So anyway, yeah, we'll appease him for now. Smolak's current focus is on eradicating terrorism by the Bloods, a Golkondist ethnic group native to Valen and Swordland. He's been very vocal about his desire for cooperation on that front. Well, we can back that. Golkondists, Heathens. Heathens. Not all balloons are terrorists, Your Grace. Mr. Smolak is particularly interested in the separatist group known as the Bludish Freedom Front, who have been rumoured to be receiving support from none other than Rumberg. Oh. That's problematic, because we're in leagues with Rumberg. Oh, I see a problem already happening here. Are we going to be able to curry favour with both Valen and Rumberg at the same time? Oh dear, that might be an issue. I would advise against getting involved with the BFF, but Valen's isolation within Makopa could be a strategic advantage on our end. For all his posturing, I believe Victor Smolak truly wants Rizia as an ally. Cool. Right, what's next? In fact, I think we need to strike while the iron is hot here. When is my next diplomatic visit to Valen? As a matter of fact, you're slated for a trip to Zeal at the end of this year, for the second to last Vezek Rizian Friendship Day. What's that? Friendship Day is a celebration that's been held in Zeal every year since the treaty was signed. Since Smolak took over, he's used the occasion to trot out all the shiny new tanks Valen's oil money and United Containment funding has brought him. Your presence will at the very least remind him of the occupation's temporary nature. Yes. I'll talk to him. Maybe we can come to a productive agreement. An admirable impulse, but this is unfortunately only a ceremony, not a diplomatic talk. For now, I propose we move on with our briefing. Right, we'll save pails until last. What about these other countries of the former Empire of Meridia? Whenever I read Meridia, I read Mordor. You're saying that you... What was it? Was it all... Who was mentioned something about reading something as a something else? Yeah, President Smolak as President Snorlax. I keep reading Meridia as bloody Mordor. And I don't even like your Lord of the Rings. So I think, was it the former Empire of Meridia? Was that like Dirdia Mirella? Yeah, Dirdia and Mirella. I mean, reading the codexes off camera. Some quite interesting history in this region. So Mirella, for example, I know is Dirdia is. It'll tell us here, I'm sure. When I read the two codexes about their leaders and these two countries, and I think Mirella was a female prime minister whose name I can't remember, and she's very left-wing. And Dirdia is run by a high wiseman person. It's a theocracy. Yeah, it's very interesting. So we'll go with Dirdia first. Ah, yes, the only fully Golcondish nation in the world. Horror. It's like a fate worse than death for us. Plonk us in the middle of that country. Our relations with them have been strained since the country's conversion to a theocracy. However, we still maintain a number of cooperative agreements, including our acceptance of Dirdian migrants as labour hands. I must say that their supreme wiseman, Jorga Asmal, did not approve of our ban on Golcondish pilgrims to Rizian holy sites. That's the fella. Look at him. He looks like a madman. Yes, His Majesty and I discussed that ban prior to our ceremony in Plevo. Yes. I don't like any of these options because we don't harbour any reservations about it. We are happy it's in place. But yeah, the trusting the Grand Wiseman's decision we completely agree with, so we'll have to go down this line because the other two options are certainly not our stance. So As do I. I wonder, though, why he has not put similar restrictions on Dasnurists. They may have strayed, gentlemen, but Golcondists and Dasnurists are both our brethren. I'm merely worried the growing number of Golcondist visitors at sites like Plevo and their rather physical interpretation of our religion were alienating the true Ruhasist believers. I will point out that our stance on Durdian Golcondists is far gentler than Morella's. Yes, Morella hasn't allowed Durdians any kind into the country since the Meftium invasion of 1915, though the Durdians most certainly have tried. Poor Durdians. My foot. Those Golcondist lunatics should stay in their own country. It's a bit of a... Can't really say that because we were kind of, well, not so welcoming, but we picked the option which was like we were happy to see people coming into the country as long as it wasn't in our area. We know that they do serve a purpose when it comes to our economy. So, yeah, not completely against it, although, of course, they've got this whole labour hands, poor rights situation going on. How are the Durdian migrants reaching Rizia? Mostly by boat across the Gulf of the Mordian, though some are trafficked across the border, and others fight their way in. Say what you will about the Durdians' beliefs, you can't argue with their weaponry. It's part of their warrior culture, Duchess. Their practice is centred on martial discipline and physical strength. Can they be bargained with? Everyone can be bargained with, Your Majesty. Like Victor Smolak, Mr. Asmal may be looking for a way to end his country's geopolitical isolation. I should mention that the Durdians' isolation is partially self-imposed. They are suspicious of nations that do not share their particular values. Among other things, these include a hardline stance on drugs and alcohol. Oh, so legalising alcohol will tick off the Durdians. Oh dear. Legalising drugs, sorry. Did I say alcohol? Drugs. Legalising drugs. Yeah. Maybe won't go too well with the Durdians. Every decision that we want to make is ticking off a country at the moment. They want to just watch their own affairs. Yeah, look at that. Are our drug laws strict enough? Peruism permits alcohol. It's even used in our rituals, right? I was drinking some earlier. No. That is interesting to know, but I won't be adapting Rizia's policies to suit Durdia's wishes of all countries. Very good, Your Majesty. We should not let Golcondists tell us how to run our country. I quite agree. And as for Morella, you've already heard about their new left-wing ruling coalition, correct? Oh, please enlighten me. After years of infighting, the country's left-leaning parties miraculously united in time to win this year's elections. The politician who managed this feat is now Morella's new Prime Minister, Alma Sultana. Or as she might prefer it, Comrade Alma Sultana. If she thinks I'm calling her comrade, if we ever have to clap eyes on her, she's got another thing coming. And I read that as Alma Mater. Hugo grimaced. Lesbian ATO are enough of a threat without the millennialists knocking at our back door. Do we have a strong opinion on either at the moment of Arcasian liberalism, millennialism? I mean, do they even hate what we stand for? I don't know, but out of all of these options, this is the best one, I think, for us. Because we're not interested in being on good terms with Morella either, if I'm being honest. So yeah, maybe asking it as a question, perhaps. What are their views on everything that we stand for? Neither ideology respects the sovereignty of a monarch. I see them as two sides of one coin. In this case, it's Valgslandian socialism we ought to be worried about, not Millenniavism. Morella doesn't stand a chance of entering the Contana Security Pact, not with its current levels of poverty. Oh yeah, we saw a news article that, what's his face? Hegel visited Morella recently. Yeah. Valgslandian social... Okay, that's interesting. Because Valgsland also have a foot in the midst. It's amazing how much more you pick up when you're watching somebody else play this game. Because I was watching somebody else play this game, and then I started reading the codexes alongside when I was watching the playthrough. And as I always do, I only watch playthroughs up until where I am. I don't watch ahead. And I was picking up from the meetings so much more than when I played the game through first time around. Just little things. And how are our relations with Valgsland at the moment? Did we used to be allies? We'll just ask generally what the relations are like, I think. Neutral at best. As we all know, House Taurus has historical ties to the late Valgos Empire, but Chancellor Hegel isn't exactly brimming with nostalgia for that era. So far, our trade relationships with Morella have not been affected, nor has our partnership in the International Trade Zone. For now. But Morella and Valgsland teaming up in that arena could potentially be more of a concern than Lesbia. Oh dear. So we've got Lesbia teaming up with the ATO, we've got Morella and Valgsland chumming up, and all these three countries are in the midst. Now, again, this is what I was saying about understanding a bit more about the game and the situation when I was reading the codexes off camera, is that I understand now what the MITS is, whereas before I didn't understand. I read it and then, MITS, happy days. It's because because of the situation with our gold, we don't obviously own a large stakeholder share in the gold that we produce because it's this rusty fella, but then the MITS is countries that mine gold in a particular area, and they share the proceeds between themselves, but we keep the proceeds of that endeavour. So we've got kind of two sources of gold, the MITS source and then the source from Rusty, the 30% stake that we've got. So if we lose the MITS share because other countries decide they want to team up and change the profit share of the MITS so that we get our noses cut out, that's a massive issue for us when it comes to gold profits. Swordland, our old friend. What's going on over there? Now that the Colonel has decided to retire, you mean? His successor is called Ewald Alfonso. We know him well. From everything I've heard, he's Saul's exact opposite. Oh, right. I actually like Saul. Did we? I mean, he got stuff done. But in what way? Think sweeping privatisation and tax cuts. Saulists forced out of power, more women in prominent positions, although he has yet to pass the kind of liberatory reforms our beloved Liza did. Speaking of Liza, she's the one who first opened trade negotiations with Swordland, back when it was still a kingdom, but Saul's disdain for the monarchy kept us from continuing down that path. The Alfonso administration, meanwhile, has no such qualms about royalty. In fact, his new development minister, Gus Manger, has already had personal business dealings in Rizia. Our friend Mr. Montero of Rizian Royal Gold has been making overtures to the Swordish oligarchy. It seems birds of crassly ostentatious plumage flock together. Oh, so yes, I can just picture it now. Rusty cozying up to Walter Tusk and co. Oh yes, I can see it now. Smoking cigars, drinking whiskey. But interestingly, in our history of Swordland from our first playthrough, when we took over as President Rain, we were speaking to Gus Manger, and we were looking at going into that gas-on partnership with an even split with Rizia. When we were talking with Gus and Alfonso, they were talking about the fact that previously the deal that they did with Rizia boosted Swordland's economy. So I'm assuming round about this time. So perhaps maybe we'll be able to benefit from that, because it sounded like it was a benefit. It benefited Swordland because they got some money out of it, so perhaps we're going to have to pay them something for something here. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. What does Adlon want from us? That hasn't been disclosed yet. The country already has abundant gas resources. They could be looking to shore up their central bank with gold in the wake of Alfonso's privatization spree. I'll contact you once Alfonso has agreed on a date for his visit. Okay, so it sounds like they're probably going to want to sell us some gas. Maybe. Something like that. Right, Pales. Isn't that the crux of today's meeting? I was just about to bring up the Grand Duchy. Yes, just like you were about to bring up cultural exchanges before my daughter did, Escabel. You do not seem to have your finger on the pulse, my sir. Not at all. I know you and Duke Reinhardt had a rather ill-fated meeting some years ago, but it's not too late to amend those bridges. Yeah, that's true, because we said that we wanted to take we wanted the Pales to be brought back under the control of Rizia, and then obviously he kicked us out of his country. If we're going to want Pales back into Kingdom of Rizia diplomatically, we're going to have to be a bit smarter than that. But hey, we were younger back then, didn't quite understand diplomacy quite so much. We might have to be a bit more malleable now. Pay for his arrogance. Yeah. He reached out because he was desperate. Sooner or later he'll come crawling back to us. But before then, we just got to play it carefully. Perhaps we should come to him first. I myself advised your father to speak to the new Duke. To no avail, of course. Compared to his brother Njolma, Axel Reinhardt seems far more amenable to a thaw between our countries. He wasn't even born when Rizia and Pales were fighting, and I suspect he's beginning to see the disadvantages of staying connected to Lesbia. Tell me more about this relationship between Pales and Lesbia. The Grand Duchy has been heavily dependent on the Republic of Lesbia since the 1920s, Your Majesty. Our northern neighbour has taken extensive advantage of the natural gas reserves off the southern Pelesian coast. Lesbia has also relocated a number of its major corporations to Pales in exchange for extremely generous tax breaks. So they're quite well entrenched in the Pales then. In addition, the resulting income, Pales has access to Lesbian technology and military equipment, which at the moment surpasses our own. Yes, most military out there surpasses our own, it seems, but hey. Pales still has a Rizian-speaking population though, right? How influential are they? They are a minority, but a vocal one. They believe in the preservation of the Rizian language, but they still consider themselves Pelesian at heart. Duke Njolma's proposed Rizian ban was a bridge too far for them. They seem to heavily favour his brother. Okay. What about Valsland? Do the Pales have any relationship with them? Not a friendly one. Most Valgish Pelesians were, and still are, vehemently against their ancestral homeland's turn to socialism. In turn, the Republic of Valisland has nothing to do with its former colony since the Reinhardt's decision to seek protection from Lesbia. Back in the 1920s, there were a few attempts at marshalling support for a Valislandian socialist revolution in the Grand Duchy. None bore fruit. Right, thank you, I'm getting a good grip on the situation there. Are you leaning towards any particular diplomatic strategy regarding Pales, Your Majesty? So, don't think we should have anything to do with them. Sounds like we're just cutting ties completely. We should attempt diplomacy. Interesting. It'd be interesting to see what diplomacy we can get. I don't think diplomacy of come back under our wing is going to be welcomed with open arms there. Start a bit of a start a Valislandian socialist revolution down there. Cause some internal strife and then pick up the pieces. I am assuming that picking up the pieces will probably be military. Although if he lost control of the country, maybe they will be more inclined to come over to our king. I don't. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. So actually, I don't think we're going to be able to take Grand Duchy. We're not taking it militarily, unless Rumburg really is a massive option for us, which I don't think it is. Diplomatically, are they likely to want to come back under our wing willy-nilly? No. So, stoking up unrest there, cause some chaos there, is that a means to have the people want to come back to I don't know. Play on the sympathies of the Rizia-speaking segment of the population. Sway them over to our side. That could be a good option. But again, how's that going to lead to them being brought back under our control? Unless he's going to hold a referendum. But I think the Rizia speakers were a minority, were they not? I think they said they were a minority. Yeah, but a vocal one. Vocal minorities can be as powerful as a silent majority. Do you know what? We'll go with this one, I think. This one, I think, is probably a bit far-fetched. And as I said, if we pick options, I think it could have an impact. So, yeah. Let's play on the sympathies of our Rizia-speaking neighbours and see what that achieves. That could prove useful, Your Majesty, especially in the face of Lespia's ATO membership. Shall I continue? Yes, please do. But although, isn't that everything? What more is there to discuss? This meeting has dragged on and I'm desperate for a cigarette and a drink of wine. Oh, that's what I was going to have a glass of port this evening. I've completely forgotten. It's because I've had my dinner before. I don't usually drink after I've eaten. I quite fancied a glass. I want to finish my port off. It's on the bar, and there's still about a third of a bottle left since Christmas. And I thought, I could just finish that off before my holiday. Just have a little small, little tot, couple of nights this week, and then finish it off on Friday. But hey ho. It's not too late for a nightcap. As a port, generally speaking, is used as an after-dinner drink because it's quite heavy and sweet. So I could actually have it as my evening's dessert. Right, Lorento turns away from the map and towards me. Oh, there is one more country that we have not discussed. Rumburg. How could I forget? How are my in-laws? Our allies, Queen Beatrice and her country, are doing fine from what we're seeing. Miss Werner already mentioned the large amounts of gold we export to the country through their strategic Port Grim. We also have a deal allowing Rumberg's ships priority access to our ports in Port Drazen and Mon Keys. We are, in essence, their gateway to the Antisaean Sea. Militarily speaking, the alliance doesn't amount to much. Rumberg will supply us with arms in case of war, but neither of our countries is officially obligated to come to the other's aid. So one of them kind of alliances, the kind of alliance that let us down on our second playthrough of the base game, when nobody came to help us. Because we didn't have full military alliances. Right, that's interesting. Thank you, Lucita. What are these rumours about the Rumbergs interfering in Valen? Nothing's been proven, Your Majesty, but we're fairly sure Rumberg has been arming Bloodish separatists in the country's northeast. The same might be happening across the border in Swordland. That's smart. So our alliance with Rumberg, you're saying, is a liability, which it is, potentially, when it comes to relations with either Valen or Sword. Oh my god. I mean, obviously it's not going to be smooth sailing, and this. But if we want to maintain positive relations with Rumberg, then other countries are going to view that as a negative. Ooh. Oh, apparently not. That's good to hear, Lorento. I'm glad you've clarified that, because that would be quite a problem. He says, shouldn't stop. Who's to say you're not wrong, Mr. Escabel? But hopefully for your sake, I hope you're quite correct. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility of escalation from Rumberg's side. Both countries are rich in the one thing Rumberg still needs: energy. Well, if we can provide extra energy to them, that will strengthen our bond with them. Maybe we can use that as a bartering tool. If they need energy and we've got energy, they're going to want it from us, and we can use it as a bargaining chip for whatever we might want from them. Full-blown military alliance, perhaps? Maybe. We shall have to see. Yes, Her Excellency has made Rumberg's oil and natural gas needs plainly known. If we end up with a stake in that new field, I fully expect her to come calling. We can rub our little hands together. It's good. It's always nice to have a bargaining chip to play with. Right. Yes, it was definitely strengthening our partnership. We don't care what they're using the energy for. We deep down know they've got, like, weapons of mass destruction, haven't they? In the first playthrough, they've got, like, nuclear weapons or something. It would. Whether that's good or bad in the eyes of the international community is another question. I will remind the Council of our prior conversation regarding ATO and the necessity of strengthening our bond with the other monarchies, especially Rumberg. Exactly, Hugo. That's exactly it. Strengthening it with grace, diplomacy with the neighbours, and what was the other things that people said? All I can remember is Vina saying about cultural expansion. All of those things. Fortunately, we have living evidence of that bond right here at this table. Of course, she's half Rumbergian after all. She's the niece of the Queen. All eyes turned to Vina, like a freak show. Look at you. She looked up from her notes she'd been taking. Oh, yes. Don't worry, Aunt Bea still dotes on me. I'm like the daughter she never had. Good. See to it that you remain in Her Excellency's good graces. No! I didn't want to click that. That was a mistake. I wasn't trying to click. I was trying to move the thing up. Oh, for heaven's sake! I didn't see what the other options were. She's a human being, Uncle Hugo, not a diplomatic tool. Of course she's a diplomatic tool. She's got blood of Queenie's sister in her. If we have to get her over to visit Queen Beatrice, you know, as the daughter she never had, and use her to get what we want, of course we're going to flip and do it. That is completely not the option I wanted to pick. It's okay, I understand Uncle Hugo's point. I'll be sure to keep up correspondence with Aunt Bay. Hugo glanced at the clock. Before we conclude, there is still the matter of His Majesty's stance on Lespia's ATO membership. Do you have any further thoughts on that? Well, what thoughts do I need to have? My councillors looked at me in expectation. Yeah, I'm hoping it's a harmless decision. I think no matter what we pick there, the relationship between Vina and Queen Beatrice probably is going to play out at somewhere down the line. Right, we've got Hugo's suggestion about aligning more closely with Rumberg and Grace. We've got Elena's suggestion about sealing economic pacts. We've got Lucita. Cannot look weak. Military and intelligence should be our number one focus. Or Lorento, you're right that it would behoove us to grow closer to Lespia and ATO instead of making enemies. Or we can consider a combination of these approaches. Oh dear. Now, as much as I was talking out loud about doing these things in combination, saying this almost seems like a, I don't know, kind of a, oh, well, I'll do all of these things. Or a combination, kind of a non-committal answer. Although it might be a valid choice. Out of all of them, if I had to pick one, economic pacts, we're quite self-sufficient, you know, aren't we? I mean, although technically speaking, I don't think perhaps we're going to be quite so self-sufficient down the line, maybe. So, yeah, are we... I mean, regional power, you know, actually economic pacts means not only just relying on other people for stuff, but it means that we might be able to better export this coal and this gold that we've got going on. See you later, Cham. Have the rest of the evening. So that could be good, and it ties in with our kind of expansion of these kind of oil fields, and not oil fields, the gas fields and stuff. When is the next stream? Good question, because I'm away in Birmingham Wednesday, Thursday, so there'll be no Wednesday stream. There'll be no football stream before, no pre-football stream on Thursday, because I won't be getting back into Leeds until about 5 o'clock. And tomorrow, there may be football, so tomorrow probably will be my final stream until I'm back from holiday. I have got all my stuff done for my holiday, so tomorrow I can stream, to be fair. No, I can't stream tomorrow. No, I'm off to get my jeans tomorrow and get my hair cut. So this is the last stream before after my holiday. So yeah, there you go. This could be the last session before my holiday. I might see what I can get up, recorded video wise, before now and my holiday, but it could be slim pickings right now. But thank you very much. Right, what are we picking here? What are we picking here? I don't know. Again, this might be a pivotal decision that kind of locks in the future conversations that we have. So it's a choice between a combination of these approaches or aligning more closely with Rumberg and Grace. I think in principle it's a good idea, but I'm just conscious about our image. If we cozy up to Rumberg too much, could tick off other countries, including Valen, who we're trying to get Zeal back from, including Swordland, who we're about to, you know, potentially have some relations with about gas. Although we know that the hostilities with Rumberg don't kick off until Rain's period, really. Although we shouldn't be using that for our decision-making process, should we? It's a bit of metagaming there. But, I don't see why we can't do a combination of all of these. I'm gonna be on the fence and say I'm gonna. Oh, you've all done very well. And because I can't make a decision, I'm just gonna use a combination approach. No one size fits all here. Very good. Hugo nodded. Very good, Your Majesty. I did have one more proposition before we adjourn. I was quite fond of the Princess's suggestion that we increase Rizian soft power outside of our borders. We've also spoken of the need to stoke pro-Rizian sympathies in both Zeal and Pales. Yes, this is our route to getting Zeal and Pales back. Not military focus, converting the populace back to our culture, back to our way of thinking. It fits with our cultural traditional mindset and our love for all things culture and tradition. If we can stoke dissension amongst the ranks in those countries or regions, well, one's a country, one's a region, it makes it a lot easier for us to take it back if the population uprises against who's currently in control of them, doesn't it? I see a plan forming here. I see a plan. So therefore, I would suggest funding branches of the Ariana Taurus Association in both of those regions. Remind me what this Ariana Taurus Association is? A non-profit organisation dedicated to the promotion of Rizian language and culture abroad. Language schools, exchange programmes, festivals, events. It was founded under the reign of Queen Ariana Taurus in the years after the War of Rizian Succession, as part of a post-war attempt to restore the country's international reputation and win goodwill from neighbours. So this also fits, as I say, this fits our bill in wanting to improve our sort of image globally. Government funded but run autonomously. Gold washing. Failing to represent the country's modern-day diversity. Oh, shut up. Those naysayers. Yeah, I don't care how much it costs. We've got tanks to sell, we've got ships to sell, we've got a tiny little bit more gas maybe to sell, although we're stagnating right now, to fund this if we have to. But this sounds like it could be a very, very key strategy for us to nab back our fragmented areas that we once lost. Yes. Okay, so we've got we've just read the codex. Do we need more of a rundown? Let's just get a confirmation from him. What exactly do they do? Yes, we know that. We know that. Oh, we didn't know that. I myself volunteered with the ATA as an ambassador for a time. I can vouch for its integrity. Right, okay, so how do you think it would be helpful in Zeal? I mean, I'm already decided, but we just pry, just make maybe there's any curveballs here. If I may, Your Majesty, there are children Vena's age in Zeal who have spent their whole lives believing they're Wezek. He shuddered quietly. If the handover goes as planned, we will need to remind Zeal citizens of their true heritage. And if not, we'll need as many Rizian sympathisers on the inside as we can get. I'm assuming it's the same for the Pales then, right? Yeah, now that the Lesbia's in the ATO, I can envision them trying to introduce Arcasian values into Pales. A greater Rizian presence will help counter that. We know Duke Reinhardt tolerates and even encourages the Rizian language in Pales. He will not see this as a threat. I can see the use for such a program. I really can. But do we have the budget for it? That is the big question. Watch this be like -8 budget. It won't be that much, surely. It's a really big decision, so I can't see it being like -2. -6, -4-ish, maybe? It can't be much more than 6, please. We do, but expanding ATA into both Zeal and Pales will be costly indeed. Oh no. If we had to pick one, what would we pick? I'd say we'd have to pick Zeal, because Zeal is actually technically still part of our land, whereas Pales is now a different country. If we had to pick one, and plus my mother's from Zeal, and she wants Zeal back as well, and it's my mother, so hey. Anybody that wears pearls and a purple hat, you should not be trifled with. Oh, this could be a decision. And maybe going for both is being a bit optimistic, because I'm assuming that maybe the upfront cost of funding this might not just be the end of it. Should we focus on one or the other? Is it possible to get both? This is not like, because this is where we're making this is where we're making a commitment, basically. She would advise us to choose between the two regions. It's only -2. What are you bloody get your knickers in a twist for? This is a bonus. -2's cheaper. One lot of tank space for this. What's your worry, leader? You said my father was too frugal. And here you are. Oh, I don't think we can spare the budget for it. We're flipping -2. As I said, this might not be the final cost. Is my biggest worry. This could be the start of things, and if there's more work to be done to continue to foster that discontent in those regions, further injections of cash might be required. But we're not going to assume what's going to happen in the future. We can only deal with what's in front of our eyes now, and that is -2, bargain if you ask me. I want no need for frugality. To expand the ATA into both Zeal and Pales. We're not doing things half measures here. I had a sharp intake of breath from Billy. Listen, it costs -2 to fix the church roof, for heaven's sake. Blasphemy here. We can afford to mend a church for -2. We can afford this. This is to get 2 regions back. Very well, Your Majesty. I will allocate the funds. Of course you will. Thank you. Thank you for, and yes, wise counsel, Lorenzo. Like, Lorenzo didn't do a damn thing. It was Vina's idea. Well done, Vini. Queen Liza would be proud. Thanks for listening, everyone. I do hope I haven't been too much of a bore. Listen, just looking at you with that moustache is enough entertainment for me. You don't have to open your mouth, sir. Now that you mention it, try to make the next meeting a bit more concise, will you? As I said before, it doesn't pay to be rude, alright, to your councillors. As much as he's disappointed us with a couple of things that he's done here today, figure doesn't appear to be on the pulse, does it? But, nonetheless, we don't want to cause rift in the council. So, thank you for your expertise, Mr. Escabel. Poirot himself. Any time, Your Majesty. He rolled the map back up and collected his belongings. I walked out of the chambers, glad to be done for the day. Look, that was a lot. Hey! So we've lost some budget. Don't worry, budget is not a problem. This is why we raise income tax. Every turn we get an extra bit of income, and plus, as I said, we've got stuff to sell. We can sell. I do wonder if we should build just one military building, just so that we can use it to sell stuff. I mean, do the military buildings give you like ships per turn, or just one lot of ships? So there was like the naval port, right? Which could make a lot of sense because we're remove the Golcondas blasphemy law. No. Permanent work permit for labour hands. That could be something that we could be interested in. I mean, it doesn't say anything about changing their working conditions. I don't think, does it? Just means that they're. Yeah, just means you can come to this country permanently. If you're willing to put up with the substandard conditions you get, you can live here for as long as you want. Yeah, that's not something we're going to sign in a hurry. But no, where's the port? Where's the port one? Was it a military option? It was at the top of a list somewhere. Construction, it's here. The Monkeys Port and Naval Shipyard. So for example, that gives us, it costs energy per turn, +1 Marines on completion, +1 military ship and submarine on completion, +1 military ship and submarine per turn on completion. So you get a military ship and a submarine per turn. For 3 budget investment and a tiny bit of authority, we get a constant and a bit of energy per turn on completion. So we can't complete this until we've got energy production, but we're getting energy production in 3 turns from the oil fields. But this gives us a steady stream of stuff we can sell. I'm going to have to think about, I'm not going to do any more research because I don't want to risk any spoilers, and I did very well not to meet any spoilers in the research that I did in the initial decrees. I've got a handle on the decrees now as to how they work, so I don't need to do anything more reading wise. But I do think that maybe just whether it's the port or maybe it's another one of these military places. What have we got here? Military equipment factory. You get 500 military equipment per turn. So if we were looking at selling something, right? What can we sell? We can sell, look, military ships, battleships, 4 budget for the ships. And we get ships and subs as well, don't we? So we get 2 things here to sell. And the subs are worth 5 budget, 2 submarines for 5 budget. We've got no subs at the moment, I don't think, because we didn't invest in our navy. That was one of the decisions that we changed from the first playthrough. Is in the first playthrough we put budget into the Air Force, whereas obviously we're not going military, so I put no budget into anything. So we've got no submarines. Where's our ships? Battleships, we've already got 1. So to sell them, we can train these units, but these units we have to build. Military ship. We can't because we haven't got a port, you see. And submarines. So we would need 2 submarines to put it into a unit, but we don't want to put it into a unit. We want to sell them. So we can sell we can sell ships and submarines, right? So if we go back again, sorry, this is stuff I could do off camera, but I just find it really fascinating. Yeah, military ships. So first batch. Second batch, obviously, we'll still have to sell more ships and get less budget, I would think. So yeah, 2 battleships, and we get 1 ship per turn. So after 2 turns, we could sell those 2 ships, which we will not need, for 4 budget. That's a lot of budget. And then likewise, we then go and sell the submarines as well, of which we've already got 1, so that would just take 1 turn, not 2, to get 2 submarines, and we'd have 5, so that's 9 budget in 2 turns by selling 2 ships and 2 submarines. That is insane. That's insane. Whereas, let's have a look at support vehicles. So support vehicles are 2 budget for 75 support vehicles. Military equipment, 2 budget for 500 military equipment. No, see, look at that. The budgets for those are nowhere near as good as the ships. So I'm thinking, as a little money spinner, where is it? Yeah, we craft this, and it's in Monkeys as well, which again, Monkeys is in our home region, and we're quite pro developing our own home region. In fact, Monkeys is our hometown, where we were brought up in the palace there. So expanding the shipyard and the port there is again in keeping with developing Valenkiris region. It gives us yeah, it gives us it's 3 budget, yes, to gain up to 9 after the first sale. We can probably do a secondary sales. So getting this early, again, is probably beneficial simply because for it to pay out in the long run, we're going to need turns to get the ships and the submarines built to sell them. So I think this turn, I'm going to sell some military vehicles and equipment to fund this, to boost our coffers when we sell the ships. That's definitely something I'm going to want to do, I think. This is all very fascinating. Oh, the decrees with the big X means you haven't got the resources. So we haven't got the budget to enact the decree. So where we haven't got the required amount of resources, they're the ones why they're in X. As soon as we get the amount of resources that we need, these will be available to us. But yeah. Oh, I'm seeing a strategy. So after this stream, which will end at the end of this turn, which I'm assuming won't be that long because the turns aren't too long in this game. This game is only supposed to be about 7 or 8 hours at my pace, obviously 15. But yeah, I'm going to have to sit down and look at how much budget and authority and all these little things take, and see if I can come up with a little kind of a spreadsheety plan. There's more to add, of course. It's 75 decrees and we're not anywhere near there yet, so there's going to be more to come. But just based on what's here so far, I'm going to iron out exactly what I like the look of. Mines, definitely. Excavation, definitely. You know, port to sell for selling ships, definitely. Energy sale just to boost our budget to shuffle the resources about a bit. Legalising illegal substances, definitely. Oh yes, we're doing that. And then I'll just have a look at some of the ones. Don't forget, I did say that I would try to placate the people a little bit. We've ticked them off by raising income tax. If there's something that we can do for the people that's not massively expensive, and it's not an RPP proposal, because that means it's gone through the hands of Suzerain, then we'll try to do it. You know, R&C proposals for like welfare privatisation would be a benefit to the people, but I'll have a look at the write-ups off camera and see if there's anything that explicitly says that the people are going to like this, and have a look at doing it. But yeah, let's keep ticking over. Got some more stuff to do. Rifle production halted in Fulcher data after accident. Oh dear. There's been a malfunction? Oh, there's a labour shortage. Oh dear. Okay, so we have to... this might affect the port, I don't know. We've got this labour shortage. So we have to address this labour shortage issue, which the way that we're doing it at the moment is through foreign labour. Yeah, that permanent visa, whatever it was called, for the foreign workers, rather, because at the moment it's a temporary thing, isn't it? A temporary visa. Permanent visa might be an option. As I said, it doesn't seem to give them better rights. It just means they can stay full time, but could be a way around it. Gas field under construction. Ooh. The recent uncovering of a vast resident city. Beacon of cultural. We haven't started excavating that yet, though. So we will do. Labour shortage. No, lack of workers. It's lack of workers. I think Elena mentioned it in the briefing. Include Elena in trade talks. Read the report. Swordish delegation to visit Port Dresden. Swordish President Ewald Alfonso will be arriving in Port Dresden on Monday. In lieu of the Vice President, he will be accompanied by his Development Minister, Gus Manger. As this is Orland's first visit to Rizia in many years, a morning of diplomatic ceremonies at Palace Resna has been planned, followed by talks in the afternoon and a banquet in the evening. Ooh, the Swordish are coming. Interesting. Include Elena in the trade talks. Let's have a... Oh, what's all this? Republic of Lesbia, now a member of the ATO. Happy days for you. Okay, let's just take a quick look at stuff before we click on that option, just in case it ends the turn. Right, worsening housing crisis. Oh dear. There was an option, wasn't there, to do something with housing, but it was an RPP proposal. Housing for the Poor initiative. It doesn't cost hardly anything. It doesn't cost hardly anything. But it's an RPP proposal. If this was a non-RPP proposal, we'll do it. But because it's we can't do it. No. I'm not giving in to that man. I'm not. But yeah, housing crisis, that could be a way to placate the people a little bit. We're going to have to think this through, you know. Maybe if we have a meeting with Suzerain, which I think we'll do in due course, maybe he might help us change our minds, but I'm not convinced. He's a son of a traitor. My daughter's got her eye on him. This is completely wrangling me the wrong way. No. I will not have it. ATA operations in Pales and in Zeal. It's good to have some green rather than a raft of red. Right. Okay, what's the newspaper saying? Rufus Gragg's royal gossip. Ball season begins. As palaces in Rizia begin throwing open their doors for glamorous fetes, there is one question on everyone's lips. Where is Princess Vina? Beautiful, well-mannered, and in the prime of her life, the young heiress should be a fixture at these events, but it seems King Romus would rather keep his daughter by his side than show her off to the world, even going so far as to drag her along to his council meetings. How is she supposed to find the dashing husband she deserves if she never leaves the palace? The princess has a right to attend council meetings, of course, but it is also our right to see her in a puffy gown and speculate wildly about her love life. Free Vina, I say. Listen, Vina is not being shown off to nobody, pal, alright? Vina is behind closed doors for a reason. She's learning to become a good queen and away from the prying eyes of suitors that I do not wish to clap eyes upon her. Geopolitical. Non-aligned movement in a group. AN group. Alliance of Nations. I've never been interested in global news, but I think it's quite. It's probably. I think global news might be a bit more influential in this playthrough than the other playthrough. Is a feeling I'm getting. Anyway, we know about Kairos neutrality. Confederation of Vendonism faces democratic forces. Confederacy of Vendonism. Oh, this is interesting because we're a monarchy. So, yeah. Democratic movements challenging its long-standing monarchic rule. Yeah. The era of the kingdoms is in the past, apparently. But look at that. More hints at Arcasia and United Contana are just stoking that kind of strife within kingdoms to get them to overthrow the monarchies. Don't forget, we've got absolute monarchy here, absolutism, so I don't know what decisions we're going to have in the future in terms of decrees or otherwise to firm up our grip as an absolute monarch. It'll be interesting to see, because as things currently stand, we are seemingly, I think, in the realms of status quo as we were, which is a semi-constitutional monarch, still paying heed to the House of Delegates, although we've not taken up any of the House of Delegates proposals as of yet. Right. Including Elena in Swordland. She's our Minister of Economics. Why wouldn't we bring her? Oh, because Gus has requested to speak with the King alone. Who does the Gus think he is? Mr. Manger. You ain't speaking to me alone. You're speaking to me with the financial expert by my side. She is probably no Simon Hall, but you know, she's not stupid. And when it comes to dealing with all things money, she is coming. Have her stay behind. You're having a laugh. Country relationship updated. Grand Duchy of Pales. Relations neutral. Why is this ugly mush on my clipboard here? Without a stab marks on it or a dart through it. Geopolitical news. Federation of Anreka bolsters trade ties with Ostioke and Naliperna. not reached the end of a turn yet, and we do have... Oh! We are speaking with the Swordland delegates today! I thought that might be a new turn. Ha-ha! Right then. Come forth, Mr. Manger and Alfonso. What's his face? What's your face? Alfonso? Alfonso? Mr. Alfonso? President Alfonso? What are you called again? Sorry, I'm not up to speed with political, with the worldly news. That's not a good start, is it? If we can't get his name right when he steps through the doors. Well, who are you? My royal yacht, the Rizia, smoothly cleaved through the waters of the Zapana River Delta. I stood on the deck next to Ewald, that's the name. Ewald Alfonso, I can't remember his name. Ewald Alfonso, President of Swordland. After hours of diplomatic formalities in Palace Resna, the sea breeze felt amazing. Alfonso removed his jacket and looked up admiringly at the wide cable bridge that connected Port Drazen's two halves. What a great idea this boat tour was. It would have been a pity to spend our entire visit trapped in a stuffy old palace. He rushed to correct himself. Stuffy old palace, you say? What a way to get off to a good start. A beautiful, elegant old palace, Your Majesty. The ship's horn let out a blast as we passed beneath the bridge. Do you know what? Let's start with the Old Town. We're a man of tradition and history. Take him through the Old Town. I led the Swordfish President to the southeastern side of the deck for a better view of the Old Town. The late afternoon sun perfectly illuminated the spire of the Zilba Archantry. Oh, terrific, the way you've preserved these historic buildings. But sometimes the past can be a trap. Yes, and if my grandmother hadn't made those trade deals between Rizia and Swordland, our countries would still be strangers. But if my forward-thinking development minister hadn't reconnected us, we'd still be estranged. The Colonel was no great fan of monarchies, as you recall. Me? I'm more flexible. Interesting lines, right. Well, we're not going to beef up Mr. Sol at the moment. Oh, Hauler, big win for Leeds yesterday. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was a Yorkshire derby, so it was a fairly big win because they can be banana skins, but ultimately it was a game I was expected to win at home. The good thing about it was, though, even though I still didn't watch it because I was busy horse racing, was not that it means much to anybody in America, but it was on ITV. It was on terrestrial TV. It was on non-paid TV. First championship game on ITV in years. And I don't know why they put it on ITV all of a sudden, a Leeds United game, because normally it's on Sky, which obviously you've got to pay for, which I don't pay for anymore because I cancelled it. But yeah, it was on ITV. Which is quite a big thing to have. I mean, it's not Premier League football, don't get me wrong, but to still have a championship football game on terrestrial TV is not something that happens very often. It happens for the FA Cup matches on the BBC, but yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any more games like that. But it was quite nice to see us on ITV. It was on the state. Oh, on CBS. Okay, that's cool. Takes us back to the top of the table, which is always good. 3 points clear of third place. Anyway, we're not going to insult him. We're trying to get some kind of deal done here. So, no one's my father keen on democracy. No, we're going to do. Yeah, countries with differing politics can still find common ground. Exactly. Gus Manger emerged from the ship's cabin, clutching a bottle and grinning triumphantly. Ewald! They have it! Familiar face. I tried Cantuevo exactly once from a Rizian chef in Holsword who smuggled it over in his steamer trunk. Haven't stopped thinking about it ever since. He turned to me apologetically. Our mutual friend Rossello mentioned your yacht had an excellent wine cellar. Well, I couldn't help myself. Ordinarily, I should chastise you for raiding my wine cellar, actually. But perhaps I'll hold my tongue, given the circumstances. Exactly. That is what I'm thinking. There's a lot of insults we could throw around here. It's really... I'm going to have to play it as a really, really nasty monarch. I intended to play that way, but I just didn't want to go the really, really, really bad on the first playthrough. So, yeah... I think the next playthrough that I do, probably maybe off camera, yeah, everybody's going to feel a tongue lashing. I like you. I don't want to go that far. I think we'll just have a little bit of a jest here to say that Rusty has certainly sampled enough wine to know what he's talking about. Just look at the fella. His cheeks are permanently ruddy. I wouldn't mind gaining some first-hand knowledge myself. Butler! Poor Pabble's probably rushing out as we speak. Yeah, here he comes. 3 glasses. Excellent choice, Mr. Major. Please, allow me. He filled the glasses and handed one to each of us. This should taste of cherry and black pepper, with a faint hint of leather. I'm not a wine connoisseur, but is the hint of leather good in wine? It doesn't sound it. Oh, this wine tastes of leather. Delicious. What? We raised our glasses to leather. Oh, no, we're not. Well, no. Drink without a toast. To new beginnings. Or to our answer? No. I mean, yeah. To new. This is what this whole purpose is. We are starting anew. New beginnings. And new prosperity. And new friends. We drank. Gus sighed with pure pleasure. Alfonso's expression bordered on disbelief. All apologies to our famed friend Geralt of Ribbery, but this is in fact the best wine I've ever tasted. Yes, well, perhaps we can use that as a bargaining tool. I told you, I know certain swordish movers and shakers who would kill to have access to a beverage of this caliber. Which brings me to that deal I suggested. Ah, yes, the free trade of Rizian wine for swordish whiskey. As a good way as any to get our relations flowing again, if you'll pardon the swordish whiskey. Yeah, that old Earl Roy Maroon muck. Of course, President Rain was a big fan, but yeah, our refined Romus Taurus, used to sipping on this Cantuovo delicate wine. Swordish whiskey in exchange for our prized wine? That's definitely a lopsided deal if ever I've heard of one. Ricians do not drink whiskey, Mr. President. We've been kind the whole time. We've probably been wrangled about Gus raiding the stocks, and we've got to at least have one jibe, and it's not too bad a jibe, is it? Let's be honest. We are a people of refined palates. That's because they've never tried this. He opened his attaché and pulled out a bottle of Earl Roy Maroon 30-year-old. We're probably just looking at it. A hint of disdain on our face. Our turn to be the connoisseurs, Your Majesty. Butler! 3 tumblers, no ice. It's a good job that we've not... Because obviously, depending on what we picked at the start of the playthrough, we could have picked to have been friends with Parble. And if we were friends with Parble, this would not go down well either. Butler? Butler? It's for good relations. I know it is, but even my tongue has its limits. And seriously, just because, and plus it's wine for whiskey. Who gives a crap? It's not going to bankrupt us, is it? But yeah, we just got to get a jibe in there somewhere. Yeah, and him constantly calling him Butler would wrangle. We'll be friends with Pabble, but we bossed him about, so he's used to being called Butler. It's fine. So Pablo comes with 3 glasses. Just a small sip for me, please. I hope this is as good as you say. It's even better. Pabble poured us each a small amount of the amber-coloured liquid. I'll do the toast this time, if you don't mind. How do you people say it? A proso? We drank. The flavour rushed over my tongue. Wood, smoke and forest moss tapering off to a sweet, silky, smooth finish. Sounds like he likes it. We probably won't admit it, though. It's so disgusting. Why would anyone want a drink that tastes like trees? Why would anybody want something that tastes like leather? Goodness me. Right, okay, it's heavenly. Yes, it's great, yes, but I'd better not have any more before conducting business now. I won't go over the top with it, but he does sound like he likes it, so... That's liquid gold you're leaving in your glass. Oh, I thought we would at least finish the glass. I thought we were just talking about not having a second helping here. Oh, sorry, did I offend you? Oh, no. Last I saw, your Treasury crone was in the cabin reading over the terms of the proposal. Your Treasury crone! Listen, when we were playing as Reigns, Gus Manger was never so brusque. Your Treasury crone! What on earth? Shall we haul her up and hash this out? Maybe it's because I insulted the whiskey, I don't know, I didn't finish it. You're in Rizia, Mr. Manger. We treat women like equals here. Don't call her a crone. Yeah, we'll just keep it as that. Teach him some manners. I'd appreciate it if you didn't call Miss Werner a crone, Mr. Manger. She's one of my most capable counsellors. Alfonso gave Gus a look of warning. Yeah, exactly. Know your place, Mr. Manger. The adults are speaking. I apologise on behalf of my minister. I told him to leave his base impulses at home. I assure you Swordland is making progress on the status of women. Not enough progress until Mr. Rain came along, depending on how you played it. Some of my most trusted ministers belong to the fairer sex. Pabble ducked into the ship's cabin and re-emerged with Elena, my Treasury counsellor, looking slightly seasick. Pardon my absence, gentlemen. Despite my Valgish ancestry, I never warmed up to boat travel. The draft agreement seems sound, but I had a question about the section regarding quantities. You're proposing an equal amount of wine and whiskey be traded per year when more demand currently exists for the former than the latter. There you go, you see. That's where we brought her. Devil is in the detail here. And... yes, as I suspected, our wine is world-renowned. High demand. It's one of our major exports. Their poxy whiskey, and I said it before even she came up, like-for-like trade didn't seem reasonable, and she's confirmed our thought process. So we can force or create a demand for whiskey in Rizia? No. See, this is why I brought her along. Well, yes, but we came to that same conclusion ourselves, actually. We're not going to insult them. Is there another way we can rephrase this, Mr. President? I'm assuming that means maybe tweak the figures? I'm not sure. I mean, what? Rephrase what? Rephrase? So we're going to go with this option simply because I think maybe we can work on the deal. I don't know, maybe a bit of negotiation here. I'm hoping that's what this means. It's not very clear. Good catch, Miss Werner. They tried to con us. They've tried to con us here. We can change that section if you like. Quantities subject to market demand. Demand in Rizia will skyrocket once Earl Roy Maroon hits the market, trust me. So, is it a trade, Your Majesty? Definitely. Expect to see all our bars serving Swordfish whiskey by next year. Yes, sure. Now can we get the real reason why you're here? No, our wine is so superior whiskey that it will be fair. No, sorry, I'd rather not bring more hard liquor into the country. Oh, of course. Hard liquor might influence trade deals with Rizia. Oh no. Extra liquor in the bars. Hard stuff, whiskey. Oh, people knocking it back like nobody's business whilst taking their legalised drugs. That man that looks like a lunatic anyway, the ruler of Rizia, is going to have a field day when we visit. What have you brought as a gift? Well, I bought a cache of wine, I bought a briefcase full of whiskey, and I bought you some drugs. Enjoy yourself. Looks like you need it. Right, I think subject to the quantities of market demand, I'm happy to trade. Expect to see all our bars serving this slop, Swordfish whiskey, by next year. Elena flipped open her ledger and made a quick note. Excellent, Your Majesty. Another reason for me to return to this gem of a country. The yacht lingered at the mouth of the Zapana Delta as the sun lowered in the sky, turning the water from turquoise to gold. As much as Solland's most valued citizens would appreciate your wine, we believe there's something else they'd find even more stunning. He gestured at his surroundings, and then down at the short-sleeved shirt he was wearing. Have you thought about Rizia's untapped tourism potential, Your Majesty? I have actually, yes. On my to-do list in the not-too-distant future is to excavate some ruins to bring tourism to our fair country. Finger on the pulse, me. So yes, we will assume the yes option. Not mentioning the expansion of the resident place, because, hey, keep that a secret. But, yeah, our beaches put lesbians to shame, after all. They are true diamonds in the rough. I know that for a long time, international tourists stayed away from the Valankiris coast because of the delicate situation with Pales. He pronounced the last word as Pales. Oh, it's not Pales? I've been calling it Pales for the entire game. What is it? Pales? Paulé? Ballet? Oh, it's Paulé. Well, bugger me. We've been corrected. After all this time, it's Paulé. Well, I never knew. I never flipping knew. Look at that. I've only played the game about flipping 70 hours total across the two games. Oh my God. Is it Parlay, Elena? It's news to me and I flipping live here. Or near it. Oh my goodness. So sorry. I've never had the occasion to speak the name aloud. I've had many occasions, Gus, and I've got it wrong every time. Don't worry about it. My point is that it might finally be time to bring your underdeveloped shores to life. I took the liberty of hiring a designer to draw this up. He reached inside his jacket pocket and pulled out a sheet of paper with a sketch on it. I recognised the beach it depicted. It was a picturesque stretch of sand in Monkey, not far from the palace where I'd grown up. Right on the coastline, the designer had placed a sprawling complex with a swimming pool and tennis courts. On it was a sign, Coronti Resort Valanquir. Oh no. Oh no. Coronti's not getting his clutches anywhere near our beach. Is he having a laugh? Anyway, I reckon they've put this in the game Because there's nowhere in the game has it ever mentioned the pronunciation. There's no pronunciations, phonetic pronunciations in brackets next to any names in any codexes. I reckon they've put that in the game because everybody that's played this game, without seeing this bit, will have called it Pales. So this is the developers' way of slapping us all in the face. It's got to be. Coronti Resort, Valankiris. Excuse me? It's missing a private beer. Would that be just to show that we've got knowledge of this Coronti fellow, would that be the senior or the junior Coronti? Obviously the senior Coronti isn't dead yet. Exactly, just showing the research. You've done your research, I see. This is Marcel's initiative. Oh, it is the younger Coronti, along with certain other members of the Lotherbert group. Our partners are considering significant investment along the Valankiris coast. If all went well, the Coronti resort would only be the first step. Alfonso swirled the last drops of whiskey around in his glass. I'm aware of how your noble sea saltish oligarch is. I'm also aware that their world-renowned riches have diminished with each successive generation. Change is not merely inevitable, Your Majesty. It's the only way to preserve the lifestyle to which you're all so accustomed. Your grandmother understood that. Liza wouldn't have wanted a bunch of fat, sunburned Vulgarians blocking her ocean views. No offence. Oh, okay, so do we want... I don't want this. A bit of wine and a bit of whiskey, fine. Having them start taking over my beaches? Coronti Resort? I'm not. It's probably beneficial, but I can't do that. No. Not having a Coronti Resort on the shores of Monkeys. No. Not on your Nelly. No. I'm just thinking fat monies, but sometimes there's more to life than cash, right? We can't help it. We're not insulting them. We're not insulting them. All right, we're not really, are we? It's almost a tongue-in-cheek answer, but. We do want their help to stay wealthy in other areas. You're just not taking over my beaches. All right? Yeah, we're gonna have to. Oh, no, we're gonna say. Liza wouldn't have wanted a bunch of fat, sunburned Vulgarians blocking her ocean views. No offence. Gus drew his breath in through his teeth. Going well then. You too, eh? We'll assume that's a no on the proposal then. Not so fast. Let me just first confer with Elena. She's here for a reason, and if she can persuade me otherwise, that this opportunity is too lucrative to pass up, then perhaps I might have to acquiesce on my personal views. As you wish, Your Majesty. The Swordfish visitors waited outside as Alina and I walked into the cabin to talk. I don't care what Queen Eliza would want, and I don't... Yeah, so what do you think? If I may speak freely, I don't think it's a bad idea. Oh, for God's sake, I was hoping she would say, no, not a chance, not on your life. Why not? We say with the sour face. You must remember that I'm from Valankiris. I grew up just minutes away from those beaches, but it wasn't until I became a councillor that I had the pull to bring my family there. That resort wouldn't just open the Valankiris coast up to Swordland, it'd open it up for the rest of Rizia. Damn. See you later, Nagisa. Oh, thank you very much. I don't think they'll do key lime pie, but I'll have plenty of whatever they've got, sweet treats that take my fancy. And maybe we'll have some stories to share when I come back. Okay, we'll get her back out on deck. I'm busting for a wee. I think the turn will end after this little scene near enough, so it'll be a perfect place to end the stream so I can actually go to the toilet. Although I might have to go before then if this doesn't conclude soon. Right, okay. She's our finance minister, and she's like, yeah, it'll be good for us. It'll open the beaches up to the rest of Rizia too. Oh no. Oh. Thank you for sharing your opinion. We stepped back out into the waning sunlight and rejoined Alfonso and Gus Manger. Well, Your Majesty, are we making history today? You have a deal, but does the resort have to be as gaudy as the one in the picture? I'm sure our architects can come up with something more subtle. In less than an hour, we've accomplished more for our countries than our predecessors managed in 30 years. Quite the feat indeed. I'd say that calls for a celebration. Butler, another bottle. Did you bring Gus with you, or is this Peter in disguise? Yeah, I mean, it's wrangling me, but maybe that's my view. But even we probably wouldn't call him Butler. We'd call him by his name. Do you know what? No. Show some respect. His name is Pablo Adria. It's been wrangling me for too long. And we're the king, actually. I stand corrected. Mr. Adria, if you would be so kind. Better. Manners cost nothing, Mr. Manger. Says us that bossed poor Pablo around when he was a child, but he was our Pablo to boss around. Your guests here. Pablo reappeared, another bottle in his hands. He shot me a grateful look as he filled our glasses. You see. The yacht began to turn back towards Port Drazen as the sun disappeared over the horizon. Oh, we're done. I thought we were going to start talking about gas and stuff. Was that just a dipping of the toe in the water? Commission to Taurus family statues. Look, we've just seen what we're going to be buying or enacting with our decrees. I mean, family statues, we're very traditionalist and historical, so we're probably going to want these. Read the report. Alka Springs Leisure Club closed amid homosexual revelations. Of course, homosexuality is illegal in this country at the moment. Police in Montclair conducted a raid of the so-called health retreat, Alka Springs Leisure Club, following a tip-off that the bathing facility was in fact a gathering place for the local homosexual community. During the unscheduled visit, several same-sex couples were indeed found to be engaging in illegal activity. They were promptly arrested and the leisure club shut down. Now, I'm sure I read somewhere in a codex, and it might have been one of the religious, it might have been Golcondas actually, where's the codexes, that homosexuality was favoured. Golcondism. Golcondism? Was it Golcondism? Yeah, look there. Golcondism is the only nearest religion that explicitly promotes the acceptance of homosexuality. Love between men in particular is seen as more sacred than the earthly bonds between men and women. I remember reading it yesterday. In the Codex session that I've never brought you, I've read them all off camera, but I will be bringing you a Codex session for some of the more, non-people, non-places, because there's a lot of interesting stuff. like that for one of them. It's quite interesting. There's loads of just little nuggets. But yeah, I'll bring you that. Maybe that's a session I can bring you tomorrow, because I won't have time to stream when I've done my shopping, got my jeans and stuff. But I'll have time to record something to upload maybe on Wednesday when I'm in Birmingham. So that might be a good time to do the Codex session. Right, what have we got? We've got commission for Taurus family statues, and we've also got conversation with Vina, and we've got Monkey's port reports ship log jam. We need to upgrade our facilities for faster docking and processing, apparently. I'm going to bob to the toilet because I can't wait until the end of the chapter. And it looks like we've got a couple more things to do yet. So I'm just going to bob to the loo. I'll be back and then we'll finish off the session. But yeah. Whew. Yay. Here we are, back again. Oh, that's much better. Oh. When you get to a certain age, suddenly your toilet habits become, more urgent. As soon as you gotta go, you gotta go. Right, Azaro's rebuked for conducting military exercise close to Terrador border. The governor of Terrador has issued a stern rebuke to the Azaros of Cardas Monteclar after their provincial military conducted exercises near the Pales administrative district. Yes, Azaros need to just rein it in a little bit. Right, what have we got going on here? We've got economy situation, regional tourist destination, Swordland HOS resort deal. Marcel Caronti's got a luxury resort development in Valenkiris. So if we combine that with the excavation of the Resinid city that we found in Topaz, I think those two combined will be good for boosting tourism into the country. So it should be a good combination, that. Rizia signs pair of historic deals with Swordland. Swordland's first official diplomatic visit to Rizia in over 30 years proved a smashing success. President Alfonso and his development minister Gus Manger flew back home as friends of the king. It's a bit far-fetched friends after certain events there, but we have certainly cemented a pair of historic deals. A free trade agreement will bring delicious Swordfish whiskey to our shores, while making Cantuavo easier for grateful swords to access. And also, Valenkiris can expect more Swordfish visitors as the resort, operated by businessman Marcel Caronti, is slated for construction on the Monkeys coast. Swordland and Rizia re-established ties, of course. Turning points. Oh, that's very true. How will Beatrice react to her ally, as in us, shaking hands with her kingdom's historical enemy? Did we think this through properly? Listen, because we are trying to make sure that we do not fall out of favour of Rumba. That is a big no. We must not. If that goes belly up, we're done for. That's all very dull, that one. Okay, right. What's this diplomacy? Trade deal with Swordland. We were trading wine and they've opened up a beach resort. I mean, if that's going to get her knickers in a twist, then she's really Fruit Loopy. If we start trading gas, that could be an issue. Right, commission a Taurus family statue. Oh. Commission a statue of Valero. Commission a statue of Valero and me. Commission a statue for the entire Taurus family. It's going to cost 1 budget and 1 authority. No, it's going to cost us 1 budget but gain us an authority. Why would we go for that one? It costs us budget and authority. We either do that one or that one. That one's just like a no. Why would you do that? Hello? What's the matter? Right, there's been a proposition to erect statues across the nation in honour of the grand legacy of House Taurus. The choices are varied. One that honours King Valero, another showcasing the late king alongside his son, or a grand portrayal of the entire recent Taurus lineage. I'm just thinking budget-wise. I know we can sell some stuff. And it's 1 budget. And our father, to be fair, was not the greatest of kings. It's going to have to be the whole family, isn't it? No need for statues. Of course there's a need for statues. Let's go for the whole kit and caboodle. Look, we can find money where we need to find money. It's not a problem. Right, it looks like we might be getting to the end of the chapter because nothing else is pinged up here. So we've got this visit, or this conversation with Vina. It was low tide. The waves of the Antisaean Sea lapped at the sands below the cliffs of Monkeys. The trail was carved into the cliffside just wide enough for a single horse. Vina picked up speed as she guided her mare, Lizzie, around a sharp curve. Oh, it is great, isn't it? Go faster. Faster, remember what I taught you. Vina, slow down. Considering that we lost her mother in a shipping accident, right? I don't think we're going to be that keen on her galloping round a sharp curve on a cliff. Slow down, Vina! She glanced back at me for just long enough to roll her eyes. Meet you at the beach! I watched her fly down the trail. She'd thrown herself into horseback riding after Lena died. We kept a few horses in Port Drazen as well, but Lizzie was her favourite. I followed her at a leisurely pace, taking time to gaze back up at the hill at Palace Monkeys. With Hubertus Taurus governing the province from his own estate, I was free to visit my old home and its private beach any time I liked. At the bottom of the trail was a sheltered cove where Parble had laid out a picnic lunch. I dismounted and sat down next to Vina. You really didn't have to come back to Monkeys with me, Father. Yes, I wanted to. Council meetings don't exactly count as quality time together. Deciding the fate of the country together? That screams quality time to me. I mean, I'm quite tempted to say this, but we've grown up in the chambers. She clearly enjoys it, so let's not rain on a parade, I suppose. Keep up that enthusiasm. It will serve you well when you're older. She picked up a lobster salad sandwich. Oh, lobster salad sandwich? Bloody hell. Most of us have cheese salad sandwiches or ham salad. Lobster salad. Picked it up, nibbled it. A solemn silence descended as we stared out at the waves. 8 years since she died. When I'm here, it might as well have been yesterday. Since who died? What? You almost died too, you know. Sometimes I wish I had. Oof. I can't even dip my toe in the water, or it'll all come rushing back. I looked out at the sea again. Let yourself remember, or try not to think about it. I think we found solace in Ruhicism, so it's probably still painful, but I don't think we're one to completely block it out of our memory, I suppose. So maybe perhaps remembering, I'm hoping this is not the incident, but maybe happier times, or the time that we were having prior to the incident. You know, we were on a boat together as a family, enjoying time. I don't know. Memories rushed over me. Okay. Yeah, we're remembering it in graphic detail. Okay. The sickening sound of the boat as its girders splintered, calling out for my wife over and over until my voice finally gave out the beep of the hospital machines as I told Vina to say goodbye to her mother one last time. Was there anything I could have done to save her? In another timeline, were there 3 of us sitting on this beach instead of 2? Tears formed at the corners of my eyes. Yep, time to pray. I muttered a prayer. My daughter didn't join me, but maintained a respectful silence. I mean, this better place thing sounds the more religious option. She's in a better place now, as you and I will be one day. But what happens until then? We're just supposed to keep going like nothing happened? She wiped her eyes. I mean, look at you, Father. 8 years and not so much as a date. Hey, maybe we've been assuming, and maybe the game is doing that to us, because remember, she looked at the Maynard's picture, or saw Maynard's seasons, giggled, or whatever she did. It felt like there was going to be a spark there, maybe. We got the whole vision about this relationship that's going to be frowned upon or whatever. We instantly think it's got to be her and Suzerain. What if it isn't? What if it's us? I mean, I don't know who's going to come across our door that catches our eye, but hey, you never know, do you? Don't be naive, I've had dates. Actually, I don't think we have. What's with the sudden interest in my love life? We did love her mother dearly. You know, I'm going to go down that line. I think yeah, it was a very, very, they loved each other very much so, and yeah, she just cannot be replaced. Vina looked unconvinced. What? What do you mean unconvinced? But if you were to meet someone, what if you had a son? Who would be your successor when you died? Oh, that's an interesting saga, isn't it? Who would... Even if it was to a different woman, if I had a son, my son would be the successor. Yeah, surely. Just side skirt the question. You don't have anything to worry about. My childbearing days are over. I mean, I think it's only fair to speak the facts. The facts are, if I had a son to another woman, the law dictates that he would be my successor. And maybe that'll stop her from prying into my love life and trying to push me onto another woman, eh? There you go. That's probably going to hurt her, actually, but hey. She folded her arms. But Queen Liza always said the eldest child should inherit the throne, no matter their sex. That's not what the rules say. Is it? Sure, it's primogeniture, male preference, the eldest living son. Yeah. Don't matter what Queen Liza said, my dear. Never mind. Who knows if it will ever happen? The tide was beginning to lap at the edge of our blanket. We stood up and pulled it away from the water. And again, we are quite traditionalist, so... Father, one more thing. Oh, we don't want to preempt the question. What? It's just... Grandmother is always on about how I need to find the right husband. How important is it to you, really, whom I marry? Very important. You're a pawn. We've all played CK2. Yeah, near enough. And again, traditionalist and all that. You're a princess, Vina. Your marriage status matters not only to me, but to the whole country. I'm not saying that you don't have to find somebody you like, but ultimately, your choices may be limited if we need to marry you off for an alliance, alright? Does that mean you're planning to marry me off, like your father did to you? My arranged marriage was the best thing that ever happened to me. She fixed me with a stare. Oh, this is not going very well. Listen. This is the way of the life of royalty, my dear. We're not going reformism here. We're going absolute monarchy. So this is how things are. All right. Your mother were lucky to fall in love. Most such marriages are miserable. You can always take a lover on the side. You want to be queen? This is part of the deal. A single wedding can accomplish more than 100 political conferences. You can always take a lover on the side. She doesn't strike me as the taking the lover on the side type. She mulled over my words for a moment. I appreciate your honesty. I do know we royals must make compromises in our personal lives. She hopped to stride Lizzie. Sorry to run, but one of the countesses from my school days has invited me for tea. She's just a few estates down the beach from here. That probably does wrangle, but... I don't know. Maybe we've upset her. Oh, Titus, who's lingering in the background somewhere. We've not heard of the Gold Guard for a while, but they've probably always been there. Everywhere we've been, they've been there in the shadows. Have fun. I'm glad we were able to talk. Try and gauge her reaction to the swordfish resort idea. It's already made now, we don't care. Titus will probably do that anyway. Have fun. I'm glad we were able to talk. We're kind of thinking that, but we'll let her go. So am I. She rode away. The trip back up the palace felt a lot longer than the way down. It was dusk by the time I'd returned my horse to the stables. I staggered through the doorway of the palace monkeys, exhausted. Parble swiftly took my coat. Welcome back, Your Majesty. Where is the princess? She's visiting with a friend. But she wanted to thank you for lunch. Monkey's lobster. It's never so sweet as when it's fresh out of the water. There's a warm bath waiting for you upstairs, in case you saw from the ride. Couldn't we all use this service? I mean, goodness me. Picnics laid out for you, lobster sandwiches come home, bath run, clothes laid out. Oh, Parboil, you're a good egg. Only if it's got bubbles. You read my mind. was stiff. All part of the job. I made my way to Palace Monkeys' master bathroom, where an enormous clawfoot tub was filled to the brim with soapy, eucalyptus-scented water. I undressed and got in. What on earth? Okay, if I'm showering, because I don't have a bath anymore, if I'm showering, where do I scrub first? In terms of arms and legs. Left leg, I think. Yeah, left leg first. Left leg first. The temperature was perfect. A tap came at the door, so soft I thought I was imagining it at first. Your Majesty? Yes? May I come in? I forgot to leave you a towel. Oh, hang on a second here, Pabble. I mean, he's the butler. And, hey. Come on in, butler. Leave the towel, it's fine. I'm in the bath. We can't see it right, well. The door slowly opened and Parble entered, a fluffy towel in his arms. He hung it on the hook on the wall. I noticed an identical towel on the hook next to it. Hang on. Eh? Is there another reason you want to come in, Pabble? There's another towel there. I'm not blind here. Pabble? He took a step closer to the tub, conscientiously keeping his eyes on the wall. Actually, there was something I wanted to bring up, without any guards around. Sounds serious. Pabble. It might be or might not be. I'm not so sure. There was a small stool next to the tub. He moved over to it and sat with his back to me. Oh, what the hell is happening here? Well, no need for modesty. I'm proud of my form. Well, Pabble, spit it out, will you? My bath is going cold here. Pabble spoke the next words slowly. Your Majesty, how much have you been told about your father's death? Ooh. Oh. Okay. A heart attack? What else would I need to know? That was the official explanation, yes. You remember my father, the groundskeeper? When I was younger, he showed me every single plant in the gardens of Palace Resna. Oh, I see where this is going. One of them was mandragora. Big green leaves, pretty purple flowers. He told me you can make an extract from its roots. A little bit helps you sleep. More than that causes delirium. And a lot stops your heart. Okay, I think I see where this is going. I know it seems preposterous, but when I attended to your father on his sickbed, he didn't seem like a man suffering from heart failure. He was in a complete daze, as if he didn't even recognise me. After he died, I went out to the part of the garden where my father had planted the mandragora. Nothing but a smooth patch of dirt. Oh. Could someone have slipped it into his supper? When was the last time you saw the plants? A few months before that, maybe? I remembered the flowers blooming. So, yes, it's possible their disappearance had nothing to do with the king's death. Okay. But he was dying anyway. What would be the motive? I can't. Yeah. He was slipping away, and he was the frail old man. Maybe the timing was crucial, I don't know, but who was around the palace that night? The Queen Mother, obviously, Grand Wiseman Ignatius, Titus and his men. Lucita Azaro was also in town, meeting with your uncle to discuss the interim security councillor position. Okay. So, quite the list. Not including me, of course. Well, it's not you, but you've brought us to this, brought me to my attention. Yeah, exactly. Why would you? But if it was poison, the coroner would have caught it, no? Mandragora is a naturally occurring substance. It may not have raised a flag. Okay, so how? Because someone would have slipped in his supper? Pabble grimaced. I was tasting all of His Majesty's food at the time, so whoever it was would have had to be very creative. Oh, literally a cupbearer, literally. Oh, okay, so let's say he was indeed poisoned. I mean, what would be the motivation? The man was frail and dying anyway. We both know His Majesty had a long list of enemies, but the goal could simply have been to put you on the throne. Or I'm next. I don't think so. I mean, is somebody really going to try to poison an entire line? You know, I'm next, then another one, then another. How many Taurus is he going to kill? I mean, nobody wanted me to be king that badly, surely. No matter what, I would urge you to look out for yourself. There were only a few people King Valero trusted by the end. If my suspicions are correct, it means one of them took advantage of that trust. And all of those people are still in your inner circle today. So we've got the Gold Guard, Titus. We've got Duchess Azaro. Now both of them clearly are in leagues with each other, because if you remember the whole tossing of the knife charade in the military meeting, her tossing it, him grabbing it, him tossing it back to her lifting a hem of her skirt, us telling her to put it down because hey, it's not very religious. So those two kind of are in cahoots. My mother, would she want him dead? Possibly. If she could see that he was failing miserably in his duties, maybe. Who else did he say was there? My mother, Titus, Lucita. This could... I mean, it sounds like it's... I don't think Babel's lying here, or mistaken here. Oh, potential investigation. Yeah. Babel, I trust what you're telling me. Wait, if you didn't try to... yeah, come on now. Don't be ridiculous. Yeah. It's time to commission an investigation. Babel nodded. Thanks for... Ask the butler's child. Ask the butler, head butler, what to do next. Do you know what? You brought it to my attention. We've known each other for many years. I bossed him about as a child. Perhaps we've softened in our old age a little bit towards him. But, yeah. What do you think I should do next? Even if it's from the angle of the old Mandragora situation. I wish I knew. Try to find out as much as you can without raising suspicion, I guess. Okay, there's general advice there. I'll keep an ear out myself. Palace gossip gets around. Yes, You tormented me in childhood. There you go, told you. But as the royal butler, it's my job to have your back. You know what? I'm going to apologise. Speaking of backs, can you give mine a scrub while you're here? Why stop the bossing around now? Do you know what? No, I'm going to apologise. Yeah, sorry about that. Didn't know any better at the time. We were just kids. Past is past, Your Majesty. I'll take my leave now. I hope the water's still warm. He quietly exited the room, leaving me to finish my bath. After a thorough soak, I dressed and headed to my study. I still had some work to go over before the trip back. Holy flipping cow. Oh, we're still at the end of a chapter. Jesus Christ, this is a long chapter. Private audience with the Golden Guard. Revolutionary Millennialist propaganda ban. So there's lots to read. It's now 25 to 11. We've been going for 3.5 hours. So we'll have to end the session right here, unfortunately, because I wanted to end the session on a situation. Oh, there's a zeal thing going on. On a situation where I could take a look at some of the royal decrees. But the next session, we'll just rather than being a codex session, I might actually just record a session of wrapping up this turn instead, so that we can start the new turn when I come back off my holiday. But yeah, we'll end it right here. What a way to end. My father could well have been murdered. In fact, there's another bloody blob here. What's happening here? Save the Orfeld campaign asks for support. The Environmentalist Coalition. Environmentalists? So they can do a running jump. No, we need to drill. Drill, drill, drill. Get that gas, get that oil, get that gold, get everything. We want it all. We want smog. We want money. Stick your environmental fundamentals up your jacksies. Right, anyway. Go forth, folks. Thanks for watching this evening. In the next one, the next session, we'll wrap up. As I said, I'll probably do a recorded session tomorrow after I've finished getting my shopping done and getting my hair cut and everything, and see if we can finish this turn. But yeah, next stream of this will be after my holidays, where we will continue to crack on and see where this campaign takes us. Yeah, it's getting juicy now, isn't it? It's getting really juicy. Looking forward to seeing how everything plays out. We've got the Zeal situation, the Pale situation. Now my father's potentially murdered. We've got a traitor. Don't forget traitor, heart, stabby, vision. There's a traitor here, and this traitor is coming to fruition. We're going to have to find out who it is, and if we don't find out who it is, we might end up dead ourselves. That could be a horrendous end to the series. But yeah, we'll see. Looking forward to see how it all plays out. So enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Thanks for watching, Louis. Well, you're very much welcome. And yeah, hope to see you all very soon. Probably looking all fantastic. That's the hope. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, folks. Whatever you choose to do. And until next time, I'll see you soon.